a second, I do just want to say hello to everyone that's in the chat as well. So a big shout out to everyone that is joining us live for AEW Dynamite this evening. I can see that we've got the likes of Austin, Bonkers, Jaden, Esteban, Default in there, Sean saying MJF. And actually, I did just read, it's a good reminder actually, did just read some interesting news about MJF. So Fightful Select have just put an article out saying that they've spoke to a load of people behind the scenes at AEW, and no one has heard anything about MJF. Like, no one's heard any talk. Like, apparently since he did that promo, like all those months ago, he has just completely fallen off the edge of the earth. Like, no one's like really heard from him. Tony Khan doesn't talk about him. And so it's just, radio silence, which is good because obviously if this is a work, and we expect it is a work, then it would be a shame if we were starting to hear like wrestlers saying, he'll be coming back in a month or so, you know, that story didn't work or whatever. We're not hearing that at all. Like, there's just nothing being said about MJF, so kind of no news to report really, but the news is that no one is saying anything. No one's heard from him. Apparently, he was meant to be filming something with Impractical Jokers. That's the word on the street, so don't know how true that is, but that there is a belief that he was doing stuff with Impractical Jokers, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Hello, Bort Laser, hope you are well. Awesome said, do you have Fite TV? If you do, you can get a free trial. I have it. Are you asking, can you get a free trial with it? I don't think so. I've been subscribed to it for a long, long time. In fact, I've been subscribed to it since AEW began. Here in the UK, it's the only way that you can watch AEW live is through Fite TV and get that Fite TV AEW subscription. So I've been subscribed to it since 2019. So I honestly don't know if they do like free trials or anything, but just trying to think back, I don't think they did. But if you're in the UK, it's the only way to watch AEW live. Brenton said, shout out to you. I hope you are well. Yes. Sam said, it's real to me days. I wonder if MJF might be nursing an injury. That's an interesting thought, actually. That's an interesting thought because, there's a few things that I will say on this. First of all, I do think it's a work, right? My opinion on this has not changed. I thought it was a work at the time. I thought it was a work a week later. We're now months later, and I still think it's a work. So my opinion hasn't changed on that. I think that they are very committed to this story. And we've spoken before about how important this story could be for AEW. Because if you go back to WCW, they brought in Hogan, and that did not win them the war. They brought in Hogan, they did Hogan against Ric Flair, and it certainly helped ratings. I'm not going to sit here and say it didn't, but what it didn't do is what the NWO did. As soon as Hogan turned and Hall and Nash came in, and you started getting the NWO, and there was really cool stuff happening on WCW, and it sort of blurred the lines. You got to remember, when Hall and Nash came in, people didn't know if they were signed to WCW or not. They called themselves the Outsiders, and the whole kind of story was that they were here to like tear down WCW from the inside type situation. And like the NWO, the New World Order, were taking over WCW now. So there was a lot of fans out there that were confused as to, is this a story? Are they really here to take over? Like, it was so intriguing, and more importantly, cool. It was cool. It was effortlessly cool. And all of a sudden, people started going, whoa, what's happening over there? And so they started watching WCW, and so that's how they were able to beat WWF in the ratings for, 82 weeks? Something like that. The podcast is named after it, isn't it? So, but yeah, that is what they need. That is what AEW need. I don't know that bringing in a certain superstar is going to win them this war. I don't think that's what does it. What they need to do is they need to get a storyline that is so juicy, that is so interesting, it's cool, it really resonates across wrestling, and I feel like they've had a few attempts at that. They've tried a few different things. You know, they've brought in CM Punk, and they've tried to, you know, doing the story of him getting to the belt. They've obviously started off with Moxley. I mean, only a few years ago, the whole company started, so, you know, they've also done a few wars, first ever Stadium Stampede. You know, we've had the Elite taking on Inner Circle, and they've tried to do a bit of a faction war. So, you know, there's been a few little things. Hangman's story, maybe. I don't think they ever expected that to be what broke through, but they've tried a few things, a few big stories. And my feeling is that this MJF one is the one that they maybe think is going to really grab attention. This is the one that is designed to really get people questioning as to whether this is real or not. And if you've got wrestling fans in doubt that it's real or not, if there's like controversy and speculation, that is fantastic. That is going to really resonate. If everyone knew that this was just storyline, it would not carry the same weight. But because people are uncertain about it, and there's a bit like, is it real? Is it not real? Like, there's still massive intrigue in it. The problem you've got is it's happened at the exact same time as the WWE drama. So, first of all, you had Sasha and Naomi walking out. That was big news. Then, obviously, you had the allegations breaking against Vince. Then, of course, the ultimate flipping. I mean, you could not have had anything bigger happen than Vince retiring. I mean, other than Vince dying, like, I just can't think of anything bigger than Vince McMahon. Anything to do with Vince coming out of power is just, you know, incredible. Absolutely incredible. And Triple H now taking over, and it's just been, for the past few weeks, it's just been this absolute relentless whirlwind of news. And the MJF story has just completely fallen off the radar. So, I don't know. We always talk about this every week when we do these watch-alongs. How would you book MJF? What would you do with MJF? And I think the thing for me is that I think there's still something there. I think that you need to gauge as to whether this is something that people are interested in or not. Is this something that people are going to tune into AEW to find out about? Or is it just dead? Is it done? Have people moved on? Do people not care now? Is there just so much other stuff going on in wrestling that this just doesn't matter anymore? So I think that for them to still be protecting it and it still be, you know, we're in the dark as to whether it's a storyline or not, I think all of that stuff is really interesting. I give them all the credit in the world for sticking with this story and trying to tell it this way. And I think you test the waters, but you've got to wait a little bit because you need the WWE stuff to settle down. And then, like, you need something that's going to bring this back on the agenda. So, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. It's just interesting. Any news regarding MJF is going to be interesting. And that's what came through Fightful Select earlier, was that they've spoke to tons of people backstage. And no one knows anything. No one's saying anything. No one's heard anything. No one's heard from MJF. Radio silence. So that's the latest. Rivy says, I'm en route to see Rage Against the Machine. Have fun, bud. Have fun. Where is that? Where are you going, Rivy? Let us know. Where are they playing? Where in the world are you? Do you think there's a chance Kenny Omega returns tonight during the Undisputed Elite return segment? A lot of people on Twitter think so. I don't see it myself. I don't know, to be honest. I can't say I've heard that he is. I mean, I've heard that he's getting closer to returning, but I can't say that I've heard that it's literally any week now. So there's a chance. I feel like this show looks fairly solid. It doesn't look spectacular, but I'm all right with that because we've had quite a few weeks of like big shows, you know, Fyter Fest and all that kind of stuff. This one just looks solid. And I'm all right with solid. Because, yeah, there's potential for things to happen. And maybe this is a week that you do bring back. It's a quieter week in a way. Maybe this is a week that you do something special. But that'll be a massive shock. If he comes back, that'll be a massive shock. I'm personally not expecting it. I'm not going into Dynamite tonight thinking that we see Kenny. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be coming up to the time for him coming back. It can't be. I wouldn't think too much further, but I haven't heard anything. I just haven't heard anything. I did say that we'd have a little chat and then we'd go through the card. We probably should go through the card. Let's have a look at it right now. So, Undisputed Elite return tonight. So, Adam Cole, Bay, obviously O'Reilly and Fish as well. So, it's going to be an interesting segment. Jericho against Wheeler Yuta. I believe the winner of that gets a shot at Moxley, but I'd have to double check it. But Jericho against Wheeler Yuta. Jon Moxley is, I think, cutting a promo. We've got a dumpster match, which is going to be Gunn Club taking on the Acclaimed. So we've got that. We've got Matt Hardy taking on Christian Cage. We've got Thunderstorm, which is Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And then also we've got Powerhouse Hobbs in action. You might remember last week, Powerhouse Hobbs split from Ricky Starks, and so as a result of that, we need to get some answers from Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know if he's said anything on. I don't know if they do interviews on Dark and Elevation, but we definitely need to hear from Powerhouse Hobbs. He's going to be in action. It'll be interesting if there's a little promo after, little interview after, or maybe a little backstage segment at some point in the show. But I like that. I mean, I really like Hobbs and Starks, and I wanted them to win the tag titles, and they didn't, and that was a shame. But if they're not going to be tag champs, then I'm just happy they're doing something with them. They're not just, in the background. Like, this is a pretty major storyline, so I'm kind of into that. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It does not look bad. Brenton said, did you see the leaked footage of the AEW game? If so, what are your thoughts? Looks like WWE Day of Reckoning and a little bit of No Mercy. I heard that pre-orders were doing well. Yeah, I put a tweet out about the game because I didn't see the full trailer first. What I saw was a clip of just the mini games, and I am being serious when I say it made me laugh out loud, because not when people say they lolled, right? They probably did not lol, right? They probably didn't laugh out loud, but they probably, had a little chuckle to themselves or whatever. I genuinely laughed out loud when I saw it. There is the very first clip that you see of the minigame has got, I think it's Penta outside the ring, and he's doing, like, all these dance moves. And in the ring, you've got, like, Britt Baker. I can't remember who else. I remember Britt being on the left. There's about 4 wrestlers, and you have to press buttons, and you have to copy them. And it's like a dancing mini game. And I was like, no, I can't cope with this. I mean, it honestly proper made me laugh. I mean, if you think of what AEW gets criticised for, it gets criticised for being like, gymnastics. And it gets criticised for like being dance routines. And then here they are going, like, in the ring. I was like, oh my God, why would you put that in a game? Why would you put that in a game? I mean, I understand the game has got to go for, like, all ages. It's got to go for, the adults that want to play, like, the video game itself. And then, some mini games that might, I don't know, cater to the women. I don't know, or the kids. I haven't got a flipping clue. But a dancing mini game involving the wrestlers. Do you know what it reminded me of? When, like, a WWE game comes out and people love to get Brock and say Undertaker and get them to do, like, the Funkadactyls entrance. So you've got, like, Brock walking out with pom-poms doing, like, the dance, and people post it online like, oh, look what Brock's doing, look what Undertaker's doing. And they're doing, like, the Funkadactyls entrance. It kind of felt like that to me, only no one has made it apart from AEW themselves. So I must admit, that got me. It did get me. It's got... You can imagine, I got a few responses that are like, oh, you're laying into AEW. It's got nothing to do with AEW. I would have laughed out loud if WWE had done the same. If you had got WWE doing the exact same minigame, I would have reacted the exact same way. So it had nothing to do with AEW, but I did think that was funny. Some of the other little games looked all right. There was like a baseball minigame that you do. I think like you have to try and hit the ball as far as possible. Like, I don't know. Just not what I was expecting to see. The footage, though, once you move that out of the way, the footage of the actual game itself has been criticised by people because the graphics don't look that brilliant. They don't look very like realistic. It's a bit old school, which for me is perfect. If you look at the video game itself, like the actual footage of the game, I think it looks great. It's up my street. I like those more arcadey style games rather than like, I don't need super realism in the graphics, because I criticized 2K22 because everyone was going crazy about how amazing the graphics looked. But if you look at like some of the face scans on that, I'm sorry, were horrible. Some were horrible. And also the hair just did not move right. Like, you're trying to make it like super realistic and all this kind of stuff, and you're taking like pride on that. But then there was bits in it that just looked rubbish to me. Some of the face scans were fantastic, of course. I'm not completely laying into it, but I thought, if you're really pinning your badge on it being super realistic, looking super high def, then straight away, maybe technology's just not there. I was under the impression the PS5 was, do you know what I mean, mind-blowing, and was going to like really advance things forward, but some of the trailers I saw for 2K22 felt like it was just PS4. Just felt like it wasn't really that special to me. But I don't know. I don't play like loads of video games, so I can only tell you from my perspective if it impresses me or not, or what my first impressions are. And as someone that doesn't play like that many video games, I want a game that I can pick up and just have fun with. I want a game that is going to be easy to understand, that you don't need to like spend loads of time mastering. But if you do spend loads of time with it, it would reward you. The more time you spend with it, the more you get out of the game. But like, you can pick it up and just, get some cool stuff going, and, you can find your way anyway. So I like what I've seen. Graphics to me are not important. They're only important if you're going to tell me they're mind-blowing. If you tell me it's mind-blowing and to me it isn't, I'll go, that isn't mind-blowing, right? And that was 2K22 to me. With this, they're not saying it's mind-blowing. They're not coming out and saying that the graphics are mind-blowing. They're saying that this is meant to be fun. It's meant to be pick up and play. It's meant to have loads of options. The actual core game itself sounds right up my street. Right up my street. So I am actually quite interested in seeing a bit more about it. I want to see like the IGN review. I want to know what they score it out of 10. I want to know if it is as fun as it looks. I mean, I'm guessing the roster's going to be really deep. I'm hoping that you can like fight backstage. I'm hoping that you can... What was that match they did? Do you remember? It was... all the cars were like parked around in a circle. It's like a car... I think it was like Santana Ortiz against Best Friends, and it was like a parking lot brawl or something. Like, I want that kind of environment. I want to do Stadium Stampede. Yeah, I want to be able to run around a stadium and destroy another faction. And I want to be able to do that. I want to, obviously, great in-ring as well. But, AEW are always trying so many different things. I want to be able to do an exploding barbed wire match. I want to be able to do that. I want to do a hardcore match. I'm not a fan of hardcore wrestling, but if I've got a video game, then let's do it. I want to do everything that I can see on Dynamite. That might be a lot to ask for this first one. That might be a lot to ask, right? So I am not going to hold it to quite that standard. If you can't do Stadium Stampede, I get it, right? It's not a problem. But I'm just saying that's the kind of thing that I would be looking for. I want a really good roster. I want I like a career mode. GM mode would be good because people always love GM mode. And I want to be able to do like Stadium Stampedes. I want to be able to do basically you name the match. I want to do a mimosa match. I've seen it. I've seen them do it, so I want to do it. I want to be able to do that kind of UFC style match. Do you remember that Hager and Thingy did? I want to be able to do them. I want that as an option. If you're not going to go big on the graphics, then go big on the gameplay. Go big on the options, right? And I'm fine with sacrificing the graphics. I'm quite happy they're not spending all hour of every day making sure that every hair is perfect. I don't need that. I just want a game that's going to be really fun to play. It's got loads of options, cage matches. I want blood and guts. I want blood and guts match. You've got to have blood and guts. If you haven't got blood and guts in there, I think that's a miss. If it's not got blood and guts, that's a miss. So, yeah, there's a lot of, for me, I would say at the moment there's pros and cons, but I'm still very much on board with seeing how it plays out, and I am actually low-key excited for it. So that's where I am. But I would say, which, as I've just explained, I don't give a flip about. Right, Days, when Punk comes back, it looks like his first program will be with whoever the interim champion is. Next week, it'll be Moxley, Jericho. Likely, the winner will face Punk. Who would you want? I would like Jericho Punk. I don't care, if I'm being truthful. I'm not really a fan of Jericho or Moxley these days. I think that Moxley has got the ability to have some really good matches, but he has also got the ability to have some really kind of silly matches. And Jericho, I would say, even more so. I mean, Jericho, I really want to see Jericho be serious. And actually, this is what Moxley was saying. Didn't Moxley call him out last week and said he wants the lion heart? He doesn't want this Jericho. He doesn't want what's happening now. He doesn't want this sports entertainer. He doesn't want the wizards. He doesn't even want the painmaker, right? He doesn't want that. He wants the lion. He wants the guy that he used to watch on VHS tape when he was growing up. Yeah, he wants the lion heart. And I got to admit, I want that guy as well. I want that guy. I'm quite happy with getting Y2J Jericho as well. I want that guy, but yeah, I think some of the stuff that he does, like him being like the wizards and sports entertainment, like I don't have a problem with that. I just find that sometimes the matches that Jericho has just go a bit too far with like their gimmicks. Like, you know what I'm gonna say? The last match, right? The last match that he has with Kingston is fine. Like it's barbed wire everywhere, and there is a bit too much barbed wire for me because the pace of the match really suffers as they literally are having to like rip their bodies off of the barbed wire, and like you've got Aubrey trying to get them off of it. For me, I don't need a match that keeps like stopping so much because they're so entangled in barbed wire. For me personally, I would have had less barbed wire and just made, a few moments with the barbed wire really matter, rather than barbed wire everywhere and they're just constantly getting like stuck in it. Not the biggest problem. The bigger problem was when the Jericho Appreciation Society were freed, and obviously, they come through the bars, and then it's just a car crash at that point. But that is not an exception. That is not like the only time that stuff like that has happened in a Jericho match. So I don't know, if you do like Jericho against Punk, is the Jericho Appreciation Society getting involved? Is Ty Conti getting involved? Is there going to be a wacky finish? Or is it just going to be a straight match? If it's going to be a straight match and it's going to be Jericho kind of just in there showing what he can do at this age without all the bells and whistles, I'd be down for that. But I've got a horrible feeling that Jericho Appreciation Society and all these guys would get involved. And I'm not interested in that. So I think, as much as I'm not massively feeling either, I mean, of the three, I'm easily CM Punk. Easily CM Punk. I'm a CM Punk guy of those three. So, who would I have face him? Right now, I'd go Moxley. Now. But if I could get a guarantee that there was going to be no skullduggery and none of that messing around, then I'd be down with Jericho. I mean, I like Jericho. It's not like I've got an issue against Jericho. He just I don't know. His matches just tend to go that bit too far sometimes. Anna says, hello, why are you excited for a game? You're going to buy it and it'll gather dust on the shelf and then still be in its packaging. Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, Anna makes a fantastic point there. You do make a fantastic point. I think I've got this horrible issue, which is, and I've said it many times before, where smile on the face of heel turn! Bailey.
Bailey.
There we go.
Oh my God!
It's a great moment. Yeah, no, it's really good. I've got this thing where I see something and it looks amazing and I want it. And I don't really give much consideration to, like, will I actually use it? Will it enhance my life? Is it going to make my life better? Is it something that I really want? I just know I need it now. So, yeah, I'm like an advertiser's dream. If you advertise something really well, I'm your guy, because I'll be like, oh, I need that. I definitely need that. I don't even know how I've lasted so long without that. I need that. And I'm feeling that way about this AEW game. From just the core game itself. I don't need the mini games, but the core game itself, I'm like, oh, that looks good. It genuinely looks more like the type of wrestling game that I want. You know, I'm not interested in that kind of simulation stuff. It's why I struggle to get so excited for the 2K stuff. Do you know what I mean? I was more excited for Battlegrounds. When WWE Battlegrounds, like, for example, I have not bought 2K22. I didn't buy 2K20, unsurprisingly. But I did buy Battlegrounds. And it's absolutely never been played. But, yes, you're absolutely not wrong. It's, I don't know, I'm an advertiser's dream. I don't think I'm alone in that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been to, like, entertainment stores, bought DVDs, bought CDs, bought games even, because they've been out shopping, got back, and then it just goes on a pile. I would imagine a lot of people have bought clothes that probably have never been worn, and, they just sit in a wardrobe. I'm that guy. I'm just that guy. In that moment, when I see something in a shop, it's my everything. I'm like a dog with a bone. Like, it's my everything. There's nothing else going on. 101. Totally impulse buyer 101, yeah. And shout out to you, buds. Hope you are well. Appreciate the support. Thank you for joining us. Let's try and get to some of these comments. Then I'm going to try and quick fire. Last week, you really liked He Wants Lionheart and The Last Survivor of the Heart Dungeon. That line you specifically liked last week. Yes, I did. I did, and I completely agree with it. I stand by it now. That is what I want. I want the Lionheart. I want The Last Survivor of the Dungeon. I want even Y2J. I feel the same as Moxley. I don't want this. I don't want this Wizards sports entertainment stuff. I want the Lionheart. And I feel like that represents more in-ring, and that represents more kind of wrestling focus, if you will. I just think I'm all right with, like, outside interference. I mean, that's wrestling 101, isn't it? People coming in outside interference. I just think the point I'm making is maybe it's a bit too much in Jericho matches. And there's, like, I wonder if it's because he's getting a little bit older now, and maybe he's starting to think that just a normal Jericho match might not cut it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can get away with just doing a match once in a while, but at his age, maybe he's thinking, and I can't put words in his mouth, but maybe he's thinking that in order to kind of keep the entertainment value high, we're going to need smoke and mirrors, we're going to need a few tricks, we're going to need to do a few things, and maybe he's thinking that. I don't know. But I'm excited for where it goes anyway. Edward says, hope you are well. I would put B-Fab with Bianca for teaming against Control. Yeah, I like that suggestion. Thank you to everyone that watched that video. I've been doing, like, debut videos, and they were doing fantastic last week. We were getting, like, 3,000 views. And then the past couple, they just really have struggled. And I don't know if it's the people I chose, or if I've just done too many too quick. I'm not too sure. But I looked at it, and, like, those were struggling to get to 1,000 views. They were, like, doing 3,000 last week, and now they're struggling to get to 1,000 views. So I'm like, this clearly is not the content people are looking for right now. So do I need to just put this on hold for a second? Do I need to look to do different people? What do I do? And I really was, like, spent a long time last night really thinking about, what do I do today? Do I do another one? Because they take hours to do. So I'm like, do I start a new one now? Or do I, because I haven't actually got any lined up. So it's like, do I start a new one or do I try something different? So I went about, like, who else do you think could come back? Who else is out there? And I remember doing on a watch-along saying, I'll have a look. I'll sit down and I'll have a look at lists of people that have been released over the past few years. And we'll see if we can find, like, a chunk of people. And so I did that. I found some names that, in truth, I'd forgotten about as well. Tried to eliminate anyone that was in AEW, because, obviously, you know, Tony's got them locked down. If they were under, like, an MLW contract or, you know, like the Iconics of Left Wrestling, that didn't bother me, because Iconics, I'm pretty sure if you give them a contract for WWE, I'd like to think they'd say yes and come back. So that wasn't a concern. MLW, I don't know. I don't know how hard it would be to get, like, Carrion out of his contract, but I thought, I'm not going to see that as too much of a barrier. I'm sure something could be worked out. I feel like they could work something out there. I don't think you can work anything out with Tony and AEW, so I didn't really treat that as a barrier. But, yeah, so we put, like, 10 together, and, yeah, it was good. It was really good. The response has been fantastic. So, as I said, you know, I'm really interested in doing more of those now, because that just seems to have resonated. Like, so many comments, so many people getting in touch, which I was like, okay, this now feels like something. So I mean, yeah, I'm going to do one tomorrow. I think I might do Austin's idea tomorrow. So it was mentioned in the chat about, if Bray Wyatt came back to WWE, who would he attack? Who would he go after? Who would he feud with? And it's one of those things that comes up in a watch-along where you're like, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I remember trying to answer it live, trying to quickly think back of, like, who'd it be? And the one name I came up with was Chad Gable. And I explained that, you know, he was part of American Alpha. I believe they defeated the Wyatt family, and it was that defeat that started, you know, the split in the Wyatt family. So you could really point at Chad Gable and say, it's your fault. You are the one that started the division. Your victory, you know, resulted in the Wyatt family splitting up. And that could be something you could pursue. But off the top of my head, trying to think of, like, loads of examples, but difficult, to be honest. So I like the idea that I can now go away with that and look into it further and then do it as a separate piece. So, yeah, I'm really into those. I'm into those a lot. So, yeah, I think I might tackle that one tomorrow. So thank you to everyone that's left suggestions. There is a tweet that I put out, which, if you're on Twitter, drop your comment in there. I mean, you can drop a comment on this video or on that video from earlier or on Twitter. Hopefully I'll see them and get to them. The ones on Twitter, I would say, if you've got an idea for a video like that and you want me to do it, I will first of all go to do it on Twitter. If you do it on Twitter, what I want to do is I want to show the tweet on screen to give people the credit they deserve, right? So I want to show the tweet on screen of whoever suggested it so that they get a shout out, get a mention, get the recognition that it was their suggestion. And I will definitely see it on Twitter as well, because I'm going to go down that tweet. So just something for you. If you want to, you know, if you've got a red hot idea, then I would say go to Twitter. There's a tweet that says, what future topics would you like us to do? Leave it there. And there's a good chance that not only will I do it, but you'll get the shout out for it as well. So quite excited by all of that, actually. Shola said, Arsenal is the first game of the season, Friday night on Sky Sports. Not long. Not long. What are the thoughts about AEW singles scene, says Brenton. WWE seems more singles heavy and AEW more faction heavy. I'd like Claudio to get a singles push, given Ring of Honor's TV deal up in the air. Same with Danielson. I think that both have got their merits. I think that you could go either way. I think that it's maybe a little bit of a shame for that big talent that's in a faction like Danielson, for example, because Danielson is, you know, arguably best wrestler in the world right now, and he is kind of having to do a work of kind of getting a faction over rather than getting himself over and just worrying about him. He's having to do work to kind of, you know, raise the profile of Wheeler Yuta. And I think they're still looking for some other members to join them as well. I mean, what I would say is that for someone like AEW, I think it works because you are taking an established veteran, putting them with someone young and that's learning and coming through. You've got to be thinking that Danielson is genuinely giving advice to Wheeler Yuta. Genuinely. And, Wheeler Yuta learning loads by just being around Danielson, being around Moxley, being around William Regal. I do feel that they could probably benefit by having another member, just one more, that could go into that group that could then learn from them as well. Otherwise, I don't know. It feels like we're sacrificing a lot just to get Wheeler Yuta to where he needs to be. But I think for AEW, where they are trying to train up people on the job, you like your Wheeler Yutas, like your Daniel Garcias, like your, dare I say, I don't know, Jungle Boy, still doing learning on the job, Powerhouse Hobbs, still doing learning on the job, Jamie Hayter, still doing learning on the job. She's obviously been partnered with Britt Baker, which again, is going to work to her benefit. So they do that a lot, Sting with Darby Allin, On as well has been managing people. Obviously, Billy Gunn has got his kids, so he's been looking over those. They've tried the Hardy family, so you've had that as well. So they do a lot of mentoring. That's probably the word, isn't it? They do a lot of mentoring. But I think for a company like AEW, where it does have a good, strong top end of its division, but then maybe it's a little bit soft underneath, the potential is there. Oh, it's tons of potential, but it just needs work. It really does need bringing along. I think if I'm Tony Khan, I'm going to be feeling a lot more comfortable if that potential has got a mentor and has got someone that's constantly with them, helping them develop. And I think one way that you do that is with the faction work. Whereas, in WWE, you don't get that as much. You don't get that mentoring as much. Really, you go to NXT, you learn your stuff, and then you come up to the main roster. And some people get a bit of a mentor, like Tommaso obviously has got a mentor with The Miz at the moment, who's kind of showing him the ropes. But that's not always the case. We've seen plenty of, Aaliyah came up. She's not really got a mentor. Xia Li came up. She's not really got a mentor. There's people that come up in WWE that I think are just expected to kind of know the ropes. You've been in NXT. You should have learned what you needed to learn. Welcome to the big time. So, yeah, it's just different. But I think there's merits to both. I think that the big stars get a bit more freedom maybe in WWE, but in AEW, they have got better support for that potential that's coming through. So, I don't mind it. I feel like that's why they do it. And maybe it's something that will change over time. Maybe, once they've got, a lot of that potential really hitting its stride, then maybe that is something that can start to change. And maybe Ring of Honor will start to change that if Ring of Honor starts to get used like a developmental. And that could be somewhere that the talent goes and then afterwards it moves on, elsewhere. And they don't need mentors because they've learned everything they need to learn. So, yeah, good point, though. Good question. I tried asking Dave something, but it did not show on screen, says Ethan. Well, I can see you now, Ethan, so I think it's working. Do football fans like Champions League news that came out on Wednesday, says David. I don't know what was the Champions League news. What was the Champions League news? I haven't seen that. WrestleMania 40 will be in Philly and I will be there, says Erase Your Minds. Have a great time, dudes. That'll be good. WrestleMania 40. I mean, that'll be special. They always go big for 10, 20, 30. I mean, 30 was WrestleMania. 20, they obviously pulled the trigger on, Guerrero, Benoit, which obviously has not aged well. But, they tried to do another, WrestleMania moment for 20 with those celebrating at the end. Obviously, Undertaker returning to Dead Man as well. John Cena winning his first singles title against Big Show. It was at Madison Square Garden as well, so a big venue. Not big in size, but big in stature. So 20, and then 10. I mean, God, You know, the Brett Owen match, the ladder match, the 2 matches for the world title as well. You know, Lex Luger going for the belt against Yoko, not succeeding. Brett getting the opportunity at the end. Again, Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, I feel like 10 always feels like a kind of a pivotal WrestleMania to me. I don't know why. In a way, it sort of feels a little bit like an end of an era, and I don't know why. Maybe like it's... I don't know why that is the case, but it definitely does. 11 feels different, and 12 and 13, they all feel different. I think, do you know what it is? I think it's Hulkamania. I think that's what it is. I think if you think back, like, Hulk Hogan is so dominant all the way up to 9, because if you think at the end of WrestleMania 9, he wins the belt. Like, I know he was in, like, just a tag match, but the show ends with him as champion. And, like, he dominates, like, the first 9. And then at 10, he's not there. And am I right in saying that's the first WrestleMania that he misses? I think it is. I can't remember another WrestleMania before that he's not there for. I think, yeah, it is. It's the first one. That's why. 10 has always felt... I've never really thought about it, but that's the reason. It's always felt different. Like a pivotal moment, and I think it's because it was the first of that Hogan, and then you go into like 11, 12, and I would say like 11, 12, 13, they all feel very different to, 9, 8, 7 as well, so yeah. But it certainly felt big, felt really big, and then 30, I would say 30 was end of the streak, Yes-Mania with Daniel Bryan. One of my absolute favorite ever WrestleManias is 30. I could love it. Absolutely love it. So you've got to think that 40 is going to be something very special. How it follows Rock Roman, though, if we do get Rock Roman at 39, how it's going to follow that, I'm not sure. I don't know. But do you know, maybe 40 is the WrestleMania where this talent really arrives. You know, your Bron Breakkers, your Gable Stevensons, this kind of talent that's Carmelo Hayes, that's bubbling underneath. It feels like there's a real groundswell of talent that's like bubbling. It's not ready yet. Gable Stevenson's not ready. We haven't even seen him once. Bron Breakker doing some good stuff, but I think even if he joins the main roster, it's going to take him a little while. And so, I don't know, maybe 40 is the moment where they break through. Don't know, it could be good, couldn't it? Could be good. But what time is it? 15 minutes. Oh my god. Ethan says, what do you think of promotions for certain people in AEW? Well, to be honest, if it's right for them, it's right for them. I mean, there's not loads to talk about in regards to that. I mean, people have been moved into, better positions, better titles. I saw that, was it QT Marshall has had a little promotion. A lot of people actually behind the scenes have, taken steps up. It feels like, this is a company that's got its eye on growth, has got its eye on the future. Tony Khan is the best person to judge as to whether they're delivering what he wants them and needs them to deliver. So I just can't really judge on that. I think that they have done well over 3 years. I think they've done very well. They, there was plenty of people saying they were going to struggle, and would they even be there in a few years' time? Well, not only are they still here, but they're very solid, very consistent. They've got a very dedicated fan base. That fan base has not been scared off, run off. There's plenty of things that could have done that over the time. And, they haven't done that. AEW have been very faithful to their audience. They've listened to their audience. They've respected their audience. And, they've been repaid with that loyalty. And, I think they're in a decent place. So I think if Tony Khan will know who delivers for him, will know who has helped achieve that. And so if they've been rewarded by getting, a promotion and a bigger role within a company that's seemingly growing, well, there's not really much I can say. Without, working behind the scenes and actually knowing what everyone does and having an opinion on what their work standard is like. It just feels like fair play. If that's the way Tony wants to go, I'm sure it's the right way. Orlando said there's been over 20 titles defended in conjunction with AEW. The titles mean nothing. Yeah, I mean, what I would say with that was actually mentioned on the Cornette show, I heard, and I would say that a lot of those don't get defended on a regular basis. Like, some of those are just belts that are carried to the ring. I think they might have included, like, the AAA tag titles, and they might have included, like, some IWGP stuff, which was kind of used and shown or defended once at Forbidden Door. But, you know, it's not a regular thing. You can definitely make the argument that there are too many belts. I mean, I don't think there's going to be too many people argue that point, that there's too many championships. But, I don't know. It's one of those that I think is not blown out of proportion, but I think can definitely be exaggerated. Because, as I said, some of those belts only feature once, and they're not things we see on a regular basis. I feel like if you want to stick the knife into AEW, you can definitely use that as a fact. It is a fact. It is true. 20 titles have been defended at some point in AEW's history. Like, fine. But the point that you could also turn around and go, yeah, but they're not. They were just one-off. Some of those were just one-offs that were just an opportunity to, work with New Japan in particular, or work with AAA, or do some, or work with NWA. You know, NWA had their women's title, didn't they, for a while involved, and so we were seeing that, but that's not around anymore. So I think if you look at it, I would say that it is quite bloated. I don't know how you're going to do a tag division and a trios division. I think that's asking quite a bit. You've then obviously got, the men's titles, like the FTW title. What does that really mean? I know Hook's got it now, but it's a nice thing for Hook to carry, I suppose. And him winning it was a nice little moment. But, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. It's not really like... It's kind of cool because it's his dad's... I don't know. I think we can all agree that they definitely don't need to add any more. And I must admit, like, that All-Atlantic one, that one I kind of blew my mind. I don't think they needed that. So, yeah. I would agree they've probably got, a few too many, but the 21, I think, is a bit OTT. They can have all the titles they want, but they will never have the Saudi Arabian Championship that Braun held. No, never. That was for the Greatest Royal Rumble, wasn't it? So he won the Greatest Royal Rumble, and then they gave him a belt, and then we just never saw it again. He never ever had it again. No, I never saw that thing in the US. He held it up once at that show, and then it was gone. So yeah, that's that. I'd love Mattel to make that, actually. I'd love Mattel to make that. I do like the quirky belts. So that'd be a fun one. Just drop that into the suggestion box. If Mattel want to make... Well, they can't, can they? Because he's not around. And he wouldn't be under any deal anymore. Oh, well, they've missed the boat, haven't they? They've missed the boat. You can't have it now. What they're doing with Pac is great, says Vape Ross Vape. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, he's Is there no sound? Oh, why is there no sound? Hang on. Bosh. Bosh. Let's try. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is that better? Yes. If in doubt, unplug it, just blow in it, and then plug it back in again. To be honest, that's the first time it's ever done that. I can't remember a stream where the microphone has just died. I can't remember that ever. I mean, that's clearly not a good sign, is it? That's clearly not a good thing. Yeah, what I was just saying was the Pac stuff is interesting. He's going around the world defending the title like in Rev Pro, but I will never see it. I will never see him defend that title because unless I go to Rev Pro, I don't watch Dark or Elevation. So is he just not? I mean, like, when is he going to defend it on Dynamite? I'm sure he will. But if the purpose of that title is to go around the world, if that's what the All Atlantic Championship's all about, then it would be really cool if we could go live to the Pac match during Dynamite. But as I said at the start of that, I was like, you couldn't really do that because of the time difference. Like, the time difference isn't going to allow it. And if you show a taped match, everyone's going to know the result. So it would need to be live. So I don't think you could make it work. Obviously, he could be defending it somewhere else in America, and you could maybe go live then. But cost-wise, I would imagine that'd be a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. So it's probably better to just record it, play it on Dark or Elevation. But yeah, just a little bit of a shame on that one. I personally don't think we need that belt. I think of all the titles we've got, I don't think we need that one. But I suppose if he is going around doing a bit of a tour and you get to go to an indie show and the All-Atlantic AEW title is on the line that night, I could see that being exciting. So, hear me out. The Usos continue this legendary run until WrestleMania 39. Miz will turn on Ciampa. Ciampa has a babyface run, goes into the feud with the Bloodline around February. Gargano returns at WrestleMania, and then DIY dethrone Usos. Could do that. Ernesto said people should stop having a life and they should watch Dark and Elevation every week. Dort Knight says, we need wrestling people to do travel shows. Imagine William Regal, Paul Heyman traveling the world, Idiot Abroad style. That would be so much fun. That's the kind of content I'm looking for. Brendan said, whilst I'm thinking of the idea, what if you did a series of old school WWF debuts? Maybe HBK's debut, Kevin Nash, Bruno, something like that. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that last week those videos were doing 2,500, 3,000 views, and views are obviously important. Like, they are the lifeblood of the channel, but more than that, it gives you an idea of what people are interested in. So, you know, if you're getting some all-right views, and, you know, 3,000, that's all right. I feel like that's a starting point, really. I feel like, okay, there's something here. We can grow this. We could do something here. There's definitely an interest. So, that was fine. And I was genuinely like, okay, there's something here. But then it went down to like 1.5, and then it didn't like start getting to 1,000. And these were for like Edge and Drew McIntyre. So if I was to do like Bruno, I've got to think that that's probably not going to resonate with most fans these days. Shawn Michaels might, but I would have thought that Edge would have, to be honest. I mean, Edge just came back at SummerSlam. He came back on the Saturday. I thought there was a good chance he would. So I was like, oh, that'll be a good one to do for Monday. You know, there'll be a lot of people that are like, Edge will be a topic of conversation. He will have come back on the Saturday. I'm sure we'll hear from him on the Monday. So why don't we do Edge's debut? And it's really interesting as well, Edge's debut. So I did that, and then like I think it did 900 views or something. I don't even know if it's reached 1,000 now. So I think that is a big kind of warning sign to me. So I'm not going to say that they're done now or anything. But I think looking at how people responded to today's video instead, I think my focus is there at the moment. And then, maybe we go back and do a few debuts further down the road, and those, I don't know, maybe with a bit of a break might perform better again. I'm not sure. It's a constant mystery to me, YouTube, trying to find what people want to watch. That's obviously the battle for everybody. So it's a constant battle that will never end. But I feel like I felt like I had a bit of something last week with the debut things that kind of fizzled out. Now I feel like I've got a little something with this kind of, article thing, if you will, opinion piece, if you will. So we'll see where that goes now. As I said, I think I'll do the Bray one tomorrow. I would rather watch Dark on a Tuesday than NXT. Oh, I tried to watch NXT yesterday, I tried to watch NXT. I really struggled. There was a women's match on NXT that was god-awful. I haven't watched NXT in a long time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. And the tag match at the start, there was a women's tag match. It was all right. It didn't blow my mind, but it was all right. Had that horrible bit in when the women jump on a load of women on the outside, or a person jumps on and they all fall over like bowling pins. Flipping hate that. Really hate that. But they, whatever. And it was fine. And they crowned new women's tag champs, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is all right. We can build on this. We can go somewhere from here. And I stuck with it, and I just found myself getting a bit bored. It just wasn't really holding my attention. And then I got to the Mandy Rose against Saray match. And I don't know if you saw it. It is one of the worst matches I've seen this year. It was flipping awful. It was slow motion. It looked like a training match. It looked like the strikes they were throwing were it was as if they had a conversation before and they were like, let's just go through the motions because we're not doing it for real. But when we do it for real, we're like, oh, I will really throw the punches. And it felt like what we were seeing was the rehearsal. I felt like I was the shots were like this. They were just there was really nothing to them. There was loads of just little roll-ups that just was so slow. It was so slow. It was off. It was really, really off. How Thunder Rosa's match the other week was just off. And they just were not on the same page at all. Thunder Rosa against, I can't remember her name. Was it Yamashita? Something like that. And it was that is the worst match I've seen this year. That one. But I would say this Mandy Rose Saray one was right up there. And my plan actually was to do a little review of the show. I thought I could see if I could find a way back into NXT. I turned it off. I turned it off after, I think it was an hour and 15 minutes. So I don't know if the rest of it was any good. The rest of it might have been great. The start was all right. I'll give it that. But yeah, I don't know. I think they need a refresh. It's not the black and gold. Right, here we go. Let's go over to AEW then. I don't know what we're going to be starting. Oh, hello. There's a woman shouting down the camera. How you doing? Right, we're going to be starting with, is it Orange Cassidy? Is it the Ass Boys? It's Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy making his way out. The following contest is scheduled for one ball. White Toot J's WWE debut interrupting The Rock. Yeah, that was iconic. Who's he? I can't remember who he's taking on. Orange Cassidy is facing. Let's have a little look. Orange Cassidy is facing. I don't have him written down, I don't actually have him written down to be facing anyone. Well, we'll find out together. Let me go over to AEW. AEW. Oh, Jay Lethal. I do remember seeing this, actually. Man, I'm so in... Do you know what? After watching Jay Lethal in that match against Ric Flair and how hard he was working and, you know, him and Jeff Jarrett doing literally everything they flipping could to get Ric Flair, like, you know, the final match that he deserved, I got maximum respect for Jay Lethal right now. I'm actually really into watching this. I had respect for Jay Lethal anyway, but I'm not someone that's watched loads of his stuff. So I've only been able to judge him on what we've been shown in AEW. Yeah, he rips up that sign. He takes the sign off a guy, rips it, chucks it back. The dude in the crowd was like, what the... Fair play. Fair play. If you're going to take a sign to a wrestling show, you've got to know that there's a good chance it's going to be tampered with, so... Mason, shout out to you. Hope you are well. He said it's crazy how much the channel has improved. Oh, that's kind. I've said before, we've spent a lot of time last year in particular, like really focusing on football. I did a whole football channel that I launched, and the amount of time I spent on making graphics for that, thumbnails for that, setting up streams for that, doing the streams for that, just took up so much of my time. I don't regret it. I had so much fun with it, and we had really great community over there. So we did the whole season, but yeah, the decision has been made not to carry that on, and so now I can just fully focus on this. And if I fully focus on something, we can get somewhere if it can have my time. So we've refreshed these streams. We have got new post-show review things for Raw and SmackDown, which I will look to bring into AEW. And as I said, I was looking to actually do it for NXT last night, but I gave up. And instead, I tried to figure out what video I was going to do instead of like a debut. So my thoughts went there. There's a dude in the background. There's a dude in the crowd who was copying Orange Cassidy then. Orange Cassidy just puts his hands in his pockets. Dude in the background was like literally watching him to do the exact same. Lethal goes against the ropes. Over the top goes Orange Cassidy. Lethal again against the ropes. Drop kick to the back by Orange Cassidy and a kip up by Orange Cassidy. Cassidy, hands in his pockets. He's getting the crowd cheering along with him, and suicide dive there by OC. So collides into Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal down on the outside. Beetlejuice says hello. Shout out to Beetlejuice. Heather said, I don't care if people think OC's gimmick has gotten old. I still love him, says Heather. Thoughts on Madison Rayne being brought in as coach of the women's division? I know you didn't follow TNA, but I've heard the hire might be an indictment of Kenny Omega's influence on the women's division. I can't comment. I didn't watch TNA, so I don't know loads like about her. I mean, someone coming in to oversee the women's division that's a woman, if it's believed that she can, you know, do a better job than what we've been getting so far, then, you know, brilliant. That's a positive. Here come best friend. So we've got Satnam Singh. Satnam Singh on the entranceway. Out come the best friends on each other's shoulders. Okay, back to the action as Lethal gets thrown into the ring. Orange Cassidy going up top. Cassidy with a crossbody. Down goes Jay Lethal. Against the ropes goes Orange Cassidy. Round the houses. Oof, corkscrew. Did you know that when you listen to music, your heartbeat will sync to the rhythm? Really? I didn't know that. Is that why if you have a heart attack, it's probably best to not listen to Hard House and stuff? Imagine you've just had a pacemaker fitted in. You go listening to like some hardcore dance music, EDM. I didn't know that. I didn't know your heart did that. That sounds a bit scary, actually. We're down on the outside. Jay Lethal grabbing the leg of Orange Cassidy, putting it into the ring steps, and Jay Lethal throwing in some kicks to Orange Cassidy. Move your leg, Orange. Move your leg. Move your leg. Didn't move his leg. Silly boy. Silly boy. And Jay Lethal drives the steps into Orange Cassidy's leg. Alex said, Sean Ross Sapp said, people to get Johnny Gargano trending. Said 4 people to get Johnny Gargano trending. Okay. What? Why? What's that? What's this pantomime? If you call his name loud enough, will he come out or something? Big Time Baxter said, did you see the Raw rating got 2.2? I did, yes. Fightful said it's the highest in a couple of years since the first Raw empty arena in March 2020. Hour 1 did 2.4, Hour 2 did 2.2, Hour 3 did 1.9. It's good. It's very good. Hopefully they got a show they were entertained with. I thought it was very solid. I did not lose my mind over it like some people did. But I think there was probably a lot of excitement around the fact that it definitely had some differences to, Raws we've been seeing. We all know it's like, the arrival of the Triple H era. So I think there was a lot of kind of optimism for the future, excitement, all that kind of stuff. But I thought it was a solid show. I think our community gave it a 7.5, which I thought was very, very fair. I thought that was very fair. I still need to do that, actually. I need to compile those results, don't I? Is this a statement show for AEW? What's the statement? I don't know that it's a statement show. I haven't heard anyone say it's a statement show. Weekly scores. That will remind me. Weekly scores. Everyone in the chat, if you are a big fan of Stone Cold, give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah! If Jericho wins, he's not Ring of Honor Pure Champion. If Jericho wins, he's not Ring of Honor Pure Champion. I don't think that's on the line. I don't think it's a Ring of Honor Pure Championship match. Did anyone notice Kenny in the intro of Dynamite, says Larry? I did not look, to be honest. But to be honest, I wouldn't have told you that he'd been removed. So, I even if I'd have seen him, I don't know if I would have thought that's newsworthy. Right now, Jay Lethal is in control. Stomping away on the leg. He's got Orange Cassidy's leg on the rope. And he's coming crashing down. Crowd's a little quiet for this. I think the crowd are a fine crowd. I just think, I don't know if we're at commercial or something. The pace is quite slow. So, I'm thinking we probably are at a commercial. There we are. AEW back live. You can always tell when we're at a commercial. The pace and the action just slows drastically. What's the point in having picture-in-picture if what you're watching is just them slowing down? Coming soon to your favorite console. Reserve your copy today. AEW Fight Forever. Have they given the release date for it yet? Have we seen a release date for Fight Forever? I can't say I've seen that. Delwyn, shout out to you, my friend. Really appreciate the support. Have you seen the MJF news from Sean? It's crazy because Tony Khan doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Since MJF had the promo taking place, he will risen to the moon when he joins WWE. I can't say I got that from that story. We spoke about it at the start. The story is that no one's heard anything. No one's heard from him. No one's heard anything. Like,
there's the cake, look. Should we have some, yeah? Oh.
That was dry.
That is good cake.
It was dry, though.
I might have some more cake.
Tell him it's dry, because it was dry.
Hang on.
No, I do say it's dry. It was nice cake.
Hey, guys!
Welcome
to Wrestling Days.
That was not as pleasant an experience.
I am not. Is that wet?
We're seeing the highs and the lows from the channel. Eating cake and appearing in dumpsters. In fact, there's a dumpster match tonight. It's exactly where I'm streaming from, actually. As soon as they open it, I go, "Hi, guys!" So, something to look forward to later. Jay Lethal going for the cover. The report I read from Fightful Select was that no one knows anything. No one said anything. And I was saying it's kind of intriguing to know are they still keeping with it? Are they still sticking with it? Are they still trying to tell that story? I feel like they are. So I don't know, when it plays out, where it goes or whatever. But I can't blame them for wanting to get past this Vince McMahon news. I can't blame them for that. Jay Lethal is up top as Orange Cassidy rolls out the way. So I think he was about to drop the elbow, but Orange Cassidy rolls to the other corner. Jay Lethal goes down into the turnbuckle. Fab, turn up Tanga said, "What about Sonny Edwards versus the Twitter troll? I am the troll in question. I like your work and your accent. Hell yeah." Fab, turn it up Tanga, shout out to you. Good to know that we've got a Twitter troll in our presence. I mean, honestly, we welcome everyone. And if anything, I think I'm extra welcome into Twitter trolls. So if you could get in touch with the Twitter troll community, just let them know that we are here for them. This is a safe haven for Twitter trolls. I really do respect some of your work. I really, really do. So, I'd like to be the face of Twitter trolls. I'd like to be the leader of the Twitter trolls. So, no, you're absolutely welcome. And please tell your friends. Tell your friends. So, Fab, Tanga, Mr. or Mrs. Turn Up, shout out to you. Big Time Baxter says, "With Vince no longer in charge, I do wonder how Mandy Rose will fare on the main roster. She has dominated NXT 2.0's women's division under Vince's vision. How far does she go under Triple H?" Well, listen, I don't know, because I thought she was all right when she was in Absolution. And actually, I had praise for her match with Sonya Deville at SummerSlam 2020. And that was like loser leaves. And I really enjoyed that SummerSlam. I mean, we got 2 Asuka matches. And the return of Roman, I believe, was there. So I enjoyed SummerSlam 2020 a lot. And that match I thought was decent. It was not mind-blowing, but it did a job. It did not stink the place out, and you did worry going into it that it might. Obviously, her relationship with Otis around that time was kind of interesting as well, but to be honest, ever since then, she's just got less and less appealing to me. And she has gone down to NXT. I haven't watched loads of her in NXT. And as I said, I tuned in and, that match against Sarray was so poor. I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know if it was a lack of chemistry. I don't know if it's Sarray. I went on Twitter because I wanted to know what people were saying. I wanted to know if I was alone. Was I alone in thinking this? And I wasn't. Because at the time, there was people that were going, "This is so bad. Mandy is so bad." But someone said this happens all the time in Sarray matches. Like, Sarray just is struggling so much in NXT. So there was at least one comment I saw that was saying that Sarray is kind of hasn't clicked. She hasn't really got going yet in NXT, and apparently there's been a few examples of this. So I don't know that I can blame Mandy for that. But I've got to say, I am not excited about her coming to the main roster. I'm not excited about her as champion. She just does not do it for me at all. Jay Lethal has picked up the victory here, so Jay Lethal wins. We've got Satnam Singh in the ring. Lethal beats OC. Okay, so talking about Wardlow. Wardlow, if you're watching, you might want to come out here now, because I'm about to put the figure 4 on Orange Cassidy, and I'm going to break his leg. Where's Best Friends? Here they are. Okay, good. It's like, we already saw them backstage, so we know they're there. And they've come racing down, and here is Wardlow. Wardlow making his way down to the ring. Speak his name and he shall appear. Wardlow jumps in the ring and Satnam Singh and Jay Lethal walk away. Best Friends tend to Orange Cassidy. TNT title laid down in the ring. How about this? Battle of the Belts 3. Put the title on the line. So he says, Battle of the Belts 3, put the title on the line. So it looks like we're going to get Jay Lethal against Wardlow at Battle of the Belts. I can't imagine Wardlow saying no. So, crowd are chanting Wardlow's name. Columbus, Ohio. Acknowledges the fans. Welcome to Wardlow's world. It's excellent. It's party time. Hey, welcome to Wardlow's world. I'd love to see him doing Bohemian Rhapsody in the car. It's the Ward show, says Miss Clown One. AEW is stale, says Chris. Thought he was going to say acknowledge him. Acknowledge me. Ricky Starks, just seeing, is this last week? So, Ricky Starks defended against Hook. He lost the title to Hook. Powerhouse Hobbs beat him up. Bad day, wasn't it, last week? Deep thoughts. If life is unfair to everyone, does that mean it's actually fair? Is it unfair to everyone? Blaze said, Wardlow has been saying Wardlow's world since he fought in the Pittsburgh arena. It's a bad catchphrase, says Kyle. Elmo's world. Here we go. Adam Cole. Adam Cole, baby. Time for the Undisputed Elite. They're back, baby. Undisputed Elite making their way out. We've got the Bucks. Bucks are with them. So, Young Bucks are AEW's number 2 ranked tag team. Is that a new... I don't know if that's a new shirt. It feels like it's a new shirt. Undisputed Elite. It's got a bit of an 80s vibe. Jensen, the best. Shout out to you, dude. Says, I'm having a drink whilst watching AEW. Bottoms up. Jensen, hope you're well, dude. Boom! Here we go then. Let's see what these guys have got to say. Adam Cole is back. He's got a big smile on his face. You brought up Breezango in your early video. Usos did say their feud with them was one of their most enjoyable and fun feuds they had. That's interesting. That's interesting. I was a big fan of Tyler Breeze. I was always very excited for him to go to the main roster. And it just never worked. He never got the investment in him that he should, and very quickly got put in that tag team. But then I really like Breezango. I mean, if you're not going to use him very well and like use him strong, then at least use him somehow. And if it's in a comedy thing, then so be it. But their fashion files, I always enjoyed those. So I would love to see those guys come back. And I'd love to see the Iconics come back, but obviously news broke earlier today about Peyton Royce becoming pregnant. So, but I mean, if we could bring back Billie Kay, I must admit she's the one out of the two that I was probably more into anyway. So I'd love to see her come back. I read that she's done like a little indie thing, but I'm not aware of any big projects that have come her way. So I think if WWE had a contract and went, do you fancy having another run, I think she'd do it. Okay, so Adam Cole said, boys and girls, you are looking at 5 of the very best. It's about loyalty. It's about fighting alongside your brothers no matter what. I came to All Elite Wrestling because of the Young Bucks. There's a sign in the crowd that says Kyle still fears Von Wagner. Kyle still fears Von Wagner. There's some weird signs in the AEW crowd these days. There's like pro Cornette signs, and now that's like a pro NXT sign. Unless it's just an AEW fan having a bit of fun, but some of the signs have been... There's... What does it say? They're not showing the sign. Young Bucks. Young Bucks. I want to see what the sign says. The guy held it up, but the way that Adam Cole has stood right in front of it. Young Bucks, where is Kenny? Does it say where is Kenny? Is that all it says? Young Bucks, where is Kenny? Oh, they attack the Bucks. Damn. So, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish attack the Young Bucks. Brandon has come in. Could this set up Kenny? We miss you, Kenny sign in the crowd. Kicks coming in. Oh my God, there's a kid crying. Did you see the kid crying? Did you see that kid crying? There's a kid that's like, ah, ah. Wow. That's what it's all about, man. If you can get the kids like that, fair play. Fair play. Hangman coming down. Hangman with a steel pipe. With a lead pipe making his way down. Chasing Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole away. Undisputed Elite, I think, are dead. Why did they advertise that t-shirt at the start? You know when they came out with the shirt? The Undisputed Elite shirt? A little thing came up saying available now on AEW shop. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? What if someone had literally just ordered one? What if they saw that shirt and they were like, that's cool. I'll get that. I'll get them. They've gone on and ordered it. And now the group's just split up in front of their eyes. And they're like, I don't want the shirt anymore. There is no Undisputed Elite anymore. That was $30. $40 with shipping. Oh, my God. Could have got a Serena Deeb shirt instead. Well, there we go. Young Bucks. Young Bucks. There's no need to feel down. I said, Young Bucks. Get yourself off the ground. Hangman racing down, making the save. Ish. A bit late. That kid. Love it. That is wrestling. That's what it's about. If you can get that kind of emotion, you're going to have to work a lot harder to get that emotion out of the adults, but if you can get that emotion out of the kids, that's what it's about. I would love a Serena Deeb shirt. That's why it came to my mind. I'd love a Serena Deeb shirt. The Professor. No shade. Kenny is going to come back in October. Gotta stop thinking face heel in modern wrestling. It doesn't matter. Many wrestlers can constantly wrestle on both sides, says Corvid. Brenton said, good. Get Cole, Fish, O'Reilly away from those clowns. And get Cole a gym membership and some muscle milk. Is that all you need? Just some muscle milk? Give that a go. Do you think that a man who stepped in the ring for the first time and fights against the undisputed world boxing champion is a troll if he's got iron balls?
I never needed you at all. Watch me shine now. Watch me shine now. Watch me shine.
Watch me shine now. Do you think a man who steps into the ring for the first time and fights against the undisputed world boxing champion is a troll? Or has he got iron balls? Well, he's not a troll. I'm trying to think if you're talking about someone in specifically. There isn't an undisputed... Did you say heavyweight? I had heavyweight in my mind. Fight against the undisputed world boxing champion. Well, who's that? Who's the undisputed world boxing champion? What weight? Who are we talking about? I have no idea if you're actually referencing something that actually happened. But I wouldn't... if you step into the ring for the first time against a world boxing champion, be it Canelo, be it Devin Haney, be it Fury, Bivol, right? If you was to step in there, I am not going to say you're a troll. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say you're a troll because I think that your trolling has gone very, very wrong. If your form of trolling results in you actually stepping into the ring with like a world boxing champion, you're doing trolling wrong. You're a really awful troll because trolling is kind of throwing shade from a distance, isn't it? It's kind of throwing hate from a distance. Actually getting yourself where you could get physically hurt means that you're literally the worst troll that's ever lived. So I would fall more in the iron balls category. I would go that way. If that is about something specific, though, let me know, because I would be interested. You don't have to sound so happy when the kid cries in wrestling. Oh, I love it, though. I love it. I love it. Genuinely, I love it because it takes me back to my youth, and it takes me back to when wrestling would get me. I can't remember if I cried like that, to be honest, but definitely, had me hooked and emotionally invested. I think as you get older, and certainly as you start hearing more behind-the-scenes news, and there's more spoilers and reports, and you've seen a lot of things, so things don't quite have the same effect anymore. I think you just get older and you get a bit jaded. So it doesn't maybe have the same impact on me that it did when I was younger. I still love it, and I'm still emotionally invested, of course, but I don't know. There's something special about when you're a kid, isn't there? So I think it's just nice to see that wrestling still has that impact in 2022. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just seeing like this happen and you go to a kid and the kid's like bored, just not that bothered. It's just, oh, this is happening now. Instead, they managed to go over to a kid that's so involved, they're like crying. I just think that's a good thing for wrestling. I think that's a good thing. It's a good sign for wrestling. So, yeah, more unhappy kids. More unhappy kids. Fab said, I made that last week. I fought against Sonny Edwards. Watch the viral video online. Well, it can't be that viral because I never saw it. I trolled the troll. That's how you do it. Notes. Right, we're backstage, and we have got Jungle Boy arriving. Jungle Boy trying to attack Christian. Car speeding backstage, and he jumps out. He tries to get to Christian, but security were straight onto him. Fab, shout out to you. Wrestle with Andy says, what wrestling from history would you love to have seen in AEW? Brian Pillman Sr. would have been great. What wrestling from history would you love to have seen in AEW? Probably the Dynamite Kid. I'll go Dynamite Kid because, you know, everyone talks about his, like, match against Tiger Mask. And that kind of is held up as, you know, being a real indicator of him being something so, like, revolutionary. Like, you know, that really introduced the world to the, really, in many ways, the style that we see now. That kind of fast-paced kind of aerial attacks, quick reversals, fluid wrestling. Just, they weren't getting bogged down in anything. It was just action, it was pace, it was excitement from start to finish. And, you know, that would obviously go on to, you know, become like what Jushin Thunder Liger would end up doing, and a lot of like junior heavyweights. That would then massively inspire, you know, what the Bucks do now, and AEW and Ricochet and Ospreay. And so a lot of it, you know, they tend to point to Owen Hart, they tend to point to Dynamite. There's gonna be examples before that, but these are the ones that I think made the biggest splash. So for me, I would love to see him on a more consistent basis. When it comes to Dynamite, rather than just constantly talking about his matches with Tiger Mask, like, I would love to see him now so that I could, like, add more to my knowledge of him, if that makes sense. I feel like anyone from, like, the 90s and 2000s, you're going to be able to find tons of tape on, but I've never seen much Dynamite. I mean, Stampede Wrestling did go up on the WWE network, and honestly, I never took advantage of it. It was there for a little while, and then it ended up getting torn down, taken down. And I think there was quite a bit of Dynamite in that, which I really wish I'd watched. But I didn't. So yeah, I'd go Dynamite because I wanna see more. I want to see more Dynamite. I want to know kind of how great he was, rather than just the Tiger Mask matches. Going Ghost, shout out to you, said, if you had to pick one to face in a boxing match, who would you box and why? Fury, Tyson in his prime, or Holyfield in his prime? I would go Holyfield. Holyfield was a cruiserweight that moved up to heavyweight, so I believe he was a little on the smaller side than Tyson and Fury. Tyson, you just wouldn't. I mean, Tyson in his prime is probably the one you'd want to avoid the most out of anyone. I think he was just a savage. I mean, his body shots, he just could devastate his opponents. I mean, what I would say is it'd probably be quick, but it would probably be quick against anyone. You know, I can't imagine that I'm going to be lasting long stepping in against any boxer. So I don't know. I feel like there would be permanent damage. I don't think I'd just get knocked out. I think there would be broken bones, and I think there would be long-term problems if I stepped in there with prime Mike Tyson. Like, legit, he could snap my neck probably with the force of his shots. And who knows? Who knows if I'd make it out alive against a prime Mike Tyson. Fury, I don't know, man. He's a big guy, isn't he? He's a big guy, and I feel like I would go Holyfield. He's smaller. He was a cruiserweight that moved up. He still had power, though. Technically a great boxer, but that would not be a problem for me because I ain't expecting to beat either of them, or any of them. But I think that isn't he a Christian man as well? I think he's found God. Saying that, Fury is as well. I think Fury's a religious person. That always makes me think there's got to be some good in there. I've got to think they're not going in there to kill me. Mike Tyson, I think, might want to kill me. But I don't think that Fury or Holyfield would. So I'll go with Holyfield. He's a Christian, spiritual guy on the smaller side. I say smaller side compared to the others. Right, we've got Thunderstorm taking on Baker and Hayter. Jamie Hayter in the ring at the moment. Prime Mike Tyson would KO Tyson Fury, in my opinion. I still wouldn't want to fight with Tyson today. No, completely agree. With Jake Paul's fight being called off, do you think that brings him closer to WWE away from boxing? I would be floored if Logan never talked to him about it. I don't think it makes a difference, to be honest, because I think that he is going to want to fight. I think there's lots of money in boxing for him. I think that he could get a payday going to WWE. Absolutely. I think that would need to be for something big, though. Like, you're doing that WrestleMania, aren't you? You're not going to do that really at any other show. I don't think you're doing that at Clash. I don't think you're doing that at the Rumble. I don't think you're doing that. You might do it in Saudi. I don't know how big their following is in Saudi. So you might do it there. But I've got to think it's WrestleMania. So I think his focus with this fight being cancelled is not going to turn to WWE. I think it's going to turn to getting another opponent locked in, sorted, 100%, and getting... Because he's going to be really feeling this. I think genuinely, as much as people like to hate on him, and, fair play, I think he genuinely does care about making sure that Serrano gets paid and all the fighters get paid. And I don't know how it affects their pay, this fight being cancelled. It's certainly going to affect the finances. Of course it is. There's no money coming in. There's no pay-per-view money. There's no ticket sales. So he's only got expense on his hand right now. So I've got to think that he's going to turn his attention to, he's got himself in peak prime condition. I can't imagine he's going to throw that away. I'd imagine he's going to want to turn his attention to a new opponent, and that a new opponent will be relatively soon. But this will sting. This will definitely sting. So, I don't know. Could, if the WWE came in with a big offer and said, do you want to do Clash at the Castle? Who knows? But they've already sold the tickets for that. It's done, innit? I mean, you just don't need that expense. I mean, that ain't going to be cheap, getting Jake Paul. But maybe you do it for WrestleMania. Maybe we get the Pauls in a tag match. Right, straight to the midsection. What was cancelled? Jake Paul against Hassim Rahman Jr. was cancelled. That was meant to be this weekend. It was meant to be him against Tommy Fury, and then that got cancelled. Tommy Fury couldn't get into America, so that got cancelled. Then he went with Hassim Rahman Jr., who is a heavyweight and fights at about 220, and he wanted him to go to 200 pounds. He said he could and he would, and then he didn't. And so he said, can I do 205? And they were like, okay, 205. And then he wanted 215. And apparently when he signed the contract, he was 216. So basically what he's asking is, can I drop a pound? Can I drop a pound in weight? And it's just not where Jake Paul fights. Jake could get to 200, 205. But, going up to 215, it's not his weight class. So, yeah, I don't blame Jake Paul for cancelling it, to be honest. I don't think there's much you could do. I do blame them for not getting an opponent that was seemingly more into it, if that makes sense. Like, Hassim Rahman always struck me as being a bit like, not bothered, kind of, just going to go in there and knock this guy out, whatever. It just seemed really like, he wasn't really like excited by the opportunity or saying that this was a big opportunity for him or he's going to go in there and get the job done and make his fans proud. He was just really, and I don't know, I don't know. Few alarm bells at that stage, and then he's not dropping the weight. So that was meant to be Saturday at Madison Square Garden. It's been cancelled. Enziguri kick by Thunder. She's trying to get over to make the tag. Nice to see the AEW seamstress has found a use for all the leftover Cody gear fabric. Jamie Hayter going for kick to the midsection by Thunder. Nice stunner. Trying to get over to make the tag to Toni Storm, who's on the cover of a fitness magazine. 1, 2, shoulder up. What was your thoughts on Paul Brothers' music? I like Jake Paul's first few songs I heard. Never heard them. I sadly heard It's Everyday Bro once because someone was taking the mick out of it. I can't remember where. But they're not channels that I watch, so I've heard Everyday Bro. And actually, was England Is My City used in that song? It might have been on a H2H2 video that I heard it, because I think he takes the mick out of England Is My City. Quite a few people did, because it's not factually true that England isn't a city. But I think they knew that when they obviously wrote the lyrics. So I think I heard it that way. In comes Britt. Let's go Thunder, says Heather. Thunder's still in there. They just did a double suplex to Jamie Hayter. Already 45 minutes gone in the show. Oof, driver. Death Valley driver by Thunder. She goes over, tags in Toni Storm. Toni going up top. Thunder picks up Britt. Britt lands on her feet. Throws a few strikes. Rake of the eyes. Hurls Thunder out the ring. Goes over. Slaps Toni Storm in the face. Climbing up top. Britt Baker. In position. She's got Toni Storm. She's going to look to plant her down. And she does. Big crash. Big collision, driving Toni Storm into the ring as Britt Baker's trying to get over to make the tag. In comes Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter going against the ropes. Clothesline. Britt Baker goes against the ropes. Stomp. Jamie goes over, goes for the pin. 2. And Thunder Rosa makes the save. Thunder Rosa comes crashing down from the heavens. So, underway with this. April 11th, 1954 was recorded as the most boring day in the world. What if Sasha Banks decided to come out right now, says Mike? Well, I did a video earlier of people I'd like to see come back to WWE. And I didn't include Sasha and Naomi because there's big reports that they're coming back to WWE. So, I've got a feeling they're going that way. Strike coming in. Nice forearm by Thunder Rosa. Reversal. Oh, down goes Thunder Rosa. Thunder rolling over. Toni Storm up into a DDT. Goes for a clothesline. She gets picked up. Backbreaker by Jamie Hayter to Toni Storm. Toni Storm is down. Thunder Rosa is down. Everyone is down. Jamie Hayter looked like she was trying to go over to make the pin, and then she just suddenly stopped. All 4 women are down at the moment. Reba on the outside offering a few words of encouragement to Britt Baker. We've got a This Is Awesome chant breaking out. Toni Storm up on her feet. Toni has got Britt. Thunder Rosa had Jamie Hayter. They just did German suplexes facing each other. Double Germans. Both the heels in the corner. As Toni Storm is colliding into them. Oh, she accidentally collides into Thunder Rosa. Jamie Hayter with a lariat. 1, 2, 3. Thunderstorm just not on the same page there. Thunderstorm just not quite on the same page. That was a fun little match. I hate seeing that move ever since Big E broke his neck. Brenton said, we talked about the AEW singles scene. Same could be said for the women. Britt seems to have been lost in the shuffle. Thoughts? Yeah, I think, though, that's all right because you need to shine the spotlight on other people at different points. Like, you can't always have the spotlight on Britt Baker because you need other people to have their opportunity and other people to have their spotlight. At the moment, the spotlight is on Thunder Rosa, and it's not going as well as Britt Baker's title reign. I think Britt Baker had the best title reign. I think Thunder Rosa has struggled a little bit with hers, and I'm not too sure why. She just hasn't seemed to be, I don't know, quite as good as she was for a little while now, Thunder Rosa. But, I mean, she looked all right in that match. But as we said, it wasn't long ago, just a few weeks, that match against Tamashita or whatever, however you pronounce it, which I didn't think went well at all. But I think that, you need to rotate it. You need to give other people opportunity. I'm sure we'll get back to Britt Baker soon enough. We were just seeing a video package of Sammy and Ty, and I wasn't interested, hence why I was just chatting with you guys. But Eddie Kingston has actually interrupted it. Eddie Kingston says to Sammy, sign the contract. Money won't buy you happiness. So Eddie Kingston has challenged Sammy Guevara. He says, when you're done with all of that, check your mail and sign the contract. Made it to the toilet. It was touch and go for a second. William, well done, bud. Well done. I'm pleased you made it, mate. Shout out to you. Eddie is the perfect person to ruin marriages. Indeed. I missed an Eddie promo. That was good. It was only short, though. Short, intense. That's all you need, isn't it? Edward said, I have got COVID, but I'll be okay. I think what I'll do is drink plenty of water or juice. Yes. I had it, COVID, and definitely, make sure you're having lots of liquids. Make sure that you're resting up as well. I mean, to be honest, I remember I got it. I was in bed for, I think it was like 24, 48 hours. It was easily 24, and a little bit longer, where I couldn't get out of bed. I was shivering. I was hot. I was shivering. Couldn't sleep. I was sweating. I was tossing and turning, and that was a right mess. So, not fun. So, I hope you get through it all right, of course. Powerhouse Hobbs is getting his entrance through the middle of the stage. The old Cody entrance. They've given that Powerhouse Hobbs. So, the thing actually rises up and Powerhouse Hobbs comes through. That is a great way of letting you know that this is a big star. That immediately makes me think, wow, they've given him the Cody entrance. So it definitely makes me think, wow, they're ready to go with him now. They're ready to move with Powerhouse Hobbs. So Powerhouse Hobbs making his way down, and he is taking on Ren Jones. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ren Jones. Sammy and Ty got together, engaged and married before Adam and Britt. Yeah, it is crazy. Are they like really, really married, are they? Or is this like storyline married? Undisputed Elite breakup. And we've had Britt and Jamie Hayter beat Thunderstorm. I don't think there's anything else, is there? Is there? Can't remember. How would you rank the AEW champions? Cornette and Last did it, and had Paige and Sammy as the worst two champions when they were World or TNT. I don't know, dude. There's so many champions. I don't even know if I could remember them all. I mean, it's hard to say at the moment because, like, you've got the whole interim thing. So, and Punk's reign is still quite new, so it's hard to judge Punk's, like, title reign. Moxley's just got that interim belt, and, you know, I'm not really too crazy on that. Yeah, I don't know. Jade's still quite green to me. So it kind of feels like we're in a bit of I don't know, it feels like we're in a bit of a weird phase with AEW at the moment. Okay, it feels like we're waiting. I'm waiting for Kenny to come back. I'm waiting for the trios thing to get going. I feel like we've just come out of like a busy phase, and now we're about to start another busy phase, what with the building towards All In and like the Grand Slam stuff. So I kind of feel like we're in like this little dip. It's really weird. I feel like where we are right now might not be where we are in, say, a month's time. I suppose a lot of it depends on when Kenny's coming back. I'm really not sure when that is. But I think fans are definitely getting to the point where they think it's... Mitchell, shout out to you, buddy, said, do you think this means Taz will be Hook's manager, or are they keeping him distant from Hook? It doesn't make sense if they are FTW.
Welcome to Wrestling Days.
I am not. Is that Heel wife, I know, is reference to Grimm, but I can't remember why it says 10:30. I think it might be because at the time he was saying that he gets shouted at if he stays up later than 10:30. So I think I did a heel wife 10:30 shirt, and that's why I was wearing it. So yeah, I think that's what that was about. Do I think that he'll be Hook's manager, or are they keeping him away from Hook? I don't think he'll be Hook's manager. I think that he is his father, and he's proud of him, and he is on commentary normally when Hook wrestles. So I did see a little backstage thing, which had Hook and Taz. And Taz was just like, I'm so proud. It's one of the proudest moments of my career to see my son carrying the FTW championship. It just means so much. And he was really putting him over, and the two like embrace at the end, and it was really nice. It was really, really nice. But I didn't get a vibe that he was going to be his manager now. I think that Hook has got to this point on his own, on screen anyway. You know, we've seen him like hang around with Danhausen or whatever, but you know, by and large, he's just on his own. And I can't say Danhausen has really helped him. So yeah, I don't think that Taz will be like his manager in his corner now. And to be honest, I don't think he needs to. If you look at the excitement people have for Hook, he's managed to kind of do that on his own. Really, they know what they've got with Hook. They've got someone that is very intense and impressive, very smooth in the ring as well with his moves. Like, there's no botching. Everything that he executes really well. Like, what he does really, really well. And he does it with a level of intensity as well, like with some aggression. Like you don't tend to see like him just going through the motions. Do you know what I mean? It's not like my criticism of the Mandy Rose Saray match was that it looked like they were on slow motion and the strikes just were really lame. They were so just rubbish. You do not get that with a Hook match. Hook lays it in, and all of that is, you know, has spoken louder than he has. I don't think he necessarily needs a manager. I think he just needs to largely keep doing what he's doing, just keep climbing up through the ranks. You know, or he started off with just beating like jobbers. Now he's starting to get like good wins. You know, beating Ricky Starks. He's got the FTW title. It's going to be really interesting to see how they use him going forwards. Be really interesting. So, yeah. Shout out to you, Mitchell. Shout out to Retribution as well. Hope you're well, buds. Appreciate the support. There is a members stream tomorrow. So, we are going to look to do that again. We did it last week. We'll look to do it again tomorrow. So, very excited for that. So, shout out to you. Appreciate it. We've got Darby Allin. We're almost halfway through the show. So, we're almost halfway through the show. We got Darby Allin saying a few words. Hello, Legend Killer. Hope you are well. What are they doing with Rosa? They should make their minds up. Yeah, I mean, she's doing, like, solo stuff. We saw her have a solo match. I think they really like the Thunderstorm name. And they tend to work quite well together as well. So, I don't know. Perhaps they're keeping her, like, you know, as champion. But I think when the opportunity arises to do a tag match, I think they're taking it. Brody King against Darby Allin. Coffin match. Next week, AEW Quake by the Lake. Quake by the Lake. Good old JR is coming out. The Hall of Fame voice of wrestling. Bum-ba-dum-bum. JR has made his way out. Bum-ba-dum-bum. Right, here we go then. Start of the second hour. Burn it down. Burn it down. Shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate it. Christian Cage making his way out. Christian Cage with his worked everyone shirt. Christian Cage. I forget who he is. I've got to start writing these down, you know. I've got into a really bad habit of reading what the matches are, putting them in a tweet, and then not actually writing them down anywhere. I'm just like, if ever I need to know, I'll just look at the tweet, but it's just easier if it's here. He's taking on Matt Hardy. That's who he's facing. Matt Hardy. Hey, Hardy, baby, I got your money, don't you worry. Say hey, baby, I got your money. Matt Hardy, Quake by the Lake. Here comes Matthew. Hobbs beats Jobber. Hardy, here he comes. He doesn't look very happy. I hope Jeff's doing well. I hope Jeff's doing well as well. Quickly, before I go, tomorrow's member stream. Do you want to try again with me or someone else? Oh, I'm going to do it with everyone. I'm going to do Discord with everyone. I'm going to... I feel like it's working. We tried it on the Wrestling Escape Pod and it works. Sunny, we could hear Sunny. So what I'm thinking is tomorrow, I'm just going to... In fact, that's my next job for tonight, is get that Discord code. We do have a Discord, and I don't use it. I'm going to blow the doors off it now, and I really want to open it to people. So there is a Discord. I don't know what you do on a Discord, to be honest. I never go on Discord. I never go on anyone's Discord, but we do have one. And we will get that code out there. And then tomorrow for the members, we will look to use it for the members streams. So yeah, it's going to be good. Remember when Yokozuna and Earthquake punished jobbers back in the day? Brutal. Yes, I do. Bonsai! Some of those bonsais. I went back and watched the very first. I saw his debut. Man, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. The bonsai that he does is... There's no way that did not hurt. There is no way that did not hurt. He proper crashes down. He does not seem to, like, pull his... Like, he doesn't take the weight on his knees or anything. He seems to actually do it. He seems to actually land that weight on someone's chest. I mean, it's just so... moody. It's moody. Back elbow by Christian Cage. Ty Conti has not wrestled one match since she hooked up with Sammy Guevara. Listen, you can criticize Sammy Guevara all you want, but he is doing God's work. He is saving us from Ty Conti matches. So, Sammy, I know that you're away somewhere. I just want to say thank you very much. And I really do mean that. I really do mean that. Because the last thing I need is to be watching Ty Conti matches. So, once more, thank you very much. It really is appreciated. So, Brendan said, who would you make as the first trio champions? Cole, Fish, O'Reilly should be the first. They need momentum, especially with all the injuries. Owen Hart Cup didn't do much for Cole. Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, I agree. They do need momentum. Adam Cole's been away for a bit. We just haven't been seeing him. It's a bit out of sight, out of mind. And yeah, I think they could do with some belts. I feel like it is building to that anyway. It feels like the Bucks and Hangman is going to be a trio. And it feels like Cole, obviously, O'Reilly, Fish. So I think that, who knows, that could be the final. That could be the final. I don't know that they've shown a bracket yet for that tournament. But if they do that match and it's the final for the belts, that'll be fun. That'll be good. I've got to think Orange Cassidy and Best Friends will be in there as well. Death Triangle, maybe? Maybe a Dark Order thing will be in there. Maybe they'll get 3 Dark Order members together. Shame that you can't do Jurassic Express and Christian Cage now. But you can't, so get over it. It's a bit of Daft Punk. Here we go. Bow, 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 na, 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 na. Days, if you could manage one 4-person faction, who would it be? It can be any wrestlers from any era, but you've got to... What have I got to call it? You've got to call it Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past. Oh my god. That feels very sci-fi, so I feel like I need to go for a sci-fi answer. The first name that comes to mind is I need Max Moon. I feel like I need, like, sci-fi. Maybe I need, like, Glacier, and I need I need Max Moon. I need the Hurricane. I feel like that sort of name, Days of Future Past. Do you know why I think that? Isn't that the name of an X-Men film? Wasn't that called something like that? I think that's why it kind of makes me think like superhero, sci-fi type stuff. So, yeah, if I had to have that name, then I probably would go superhero. Do you know who I'd have? I flipping love Mighty Molly. I love Molly Holly. I'd definitely have her in. I'd definitely have her. So, I'd have her. I'd have Hogan when he was Mr. America, because it's basically Hogan in it. So, I feel like I'm getting a good, credible star. I'd have Andre when he was Giant Machine. I'd have that, because he was like this mystery masked superstar. So, definitely take him. I could have had Mickie James when she was Luchadora. Do you remember when she was Luchadora a few years ago? And it turned out to be Mickie James. I could have had her. I kind of like this, actually, because I've now turned it into a bit of my own question, which is, if you was to create a faction of sci-fi superhero-type characters, who would you go for? So, I've taken your question, Mitchell, and I've made it better. So, you're welcome. So I would definitely have Giant Machine, because that gets me Andre. I would definitely have Mr. America, because that gets me Hogan. I would have... I do really like Mighty Molly. But I'm wondering if there's better. I'm wondering if there was someone else that I could get. Nikki ASH. I'd take Mighty Molly over. Juan Cena, when he had a mask. Yeah, that's a good shout. Juan Cena. I could have Juan Cena. I'll have Juan Cena. So I've got Giant Machine. I've got Mr. America. I've got Juan Cena. What a faction. This faction's on fire. I'm loving this faction. I mean, I could have Rey Mysterio when he was... Because he dressed up, but he didn't really disguise who he was. But he's dressed up as, like, Batman and The Flash. Do you remember when he was dressed as The Flash? So I could go for him. Rosie. I remember Glacier. Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anyone... I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I love that. Juan Cena was a great shout. That gets John Cena in the group. It's really good. People, when they were just pretending to be others, like Mystery. Who is it? Oh, my God. I can't think of anyone. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a female. I think Mighty Molly and Luchadora might be the only ones I can think of. Blue Blazer. I was thinking of a female, but that's a good shout. I'll go Blue Blazer, because that gets me Owen Hart. And you got to, ain't you? You got to. Yeah. I like that. Giant Machine, Mr. America, Juan Cena, and the Blue Blazer. Days of Our Lives, or Days of Future Past, or whatever. It's, who are they? We'll never know. You could have JYD when he was Stagger Lee in Mid-South. Yeah. I don't know that excites me as much as Giant Machine, Mr. America, Juan Cena, or the Blue Blazer. But it's a good shout all the same. Alondra Blaze. Yeah, but I know her as Alondra Blaze. It's a good name, though. It fits the kind of dynamic of the group. I definitely like the idea of, like, the female being called Alondra Blaze. It's a cool name, that was, actually. Alondra Blaze was a cool name. But that's what I know her as. I was never really a big watcher of WCW, so Medusa just doesn't really resonate with me as much. Dive-in headbutt, another dive-in headbutt, this time by Christian. We saw Chad Gable do a dive-in headbutt the other day. So, Mitchell, shout out to you. We've got... Did we get another one that I missed? Boom. Debut videos are amazing. Keep up that good work. I appreciate that, dudes. They're probably on hold for a little bit. I think I might have done too many too quick. And I think people have maybe got a bit... Not bored of them, but... I don't know. Perhaps I have just OTT'd it. I'm not sure. But we were talking earlier about how, like, the views were really strong on them last week, and they've just kind of settled down. So I think people would rather something else at the moment. But they're certainly not ending because, I mean, I enjoy doing them. And people enjoy watching them. And so, yeah. But they might just go on a little break. Matt Hardy has grabbed a table, but I'm glad you enjoy them at Burn It Down there. There's been some fun stuff in them. I've really enjoyed. Face first into the edge of the table. How long did you watch NWA before stopping? I stopped when Cornette was fired. I remember seeing you in NWA intro, but haven't got to the streams until this year. I thought it was a shame that they let him go for that. I understand that it did offend people, so I do understand that. And I thought it was a shame. I thought that it was. I don't think he explained. When I first heard the joke, I took it the way that he intended it. And when he came out and explained the joke, I took it the way he meant to say it. Other people saw it a different way, which I must admit I didn't see at the time. But other people took it a different way. And if you take it that way, it does become offensive. And so I can understand. But the truth of the matter is, he said it. He didn't mean to offend. He, came out, I believe, and apologized for it. But it was a taped show. So it did get past the NWA. The NWA recorded it, edited it, and kept it in. So I did feel like he was a bit of a lamb to the slaughter on that one. But either way, the end result was he, parted ways with them. And I must admit, I carried on. It was fine. It was still fine after that. They brought in Stu Bennett, Wade Barrett, and it was quite good. Like, he still did a decent job. But then I think when the pandemic hit, they stopped. And then when they returned, they were behind a paywall on Fite. And that just killed it for me. Because the audience weren't watching. I mean, I could watch it, but it makes a massive difference when you have like a few thousand people join you and then it goes down to about 1,000. Do you know what I mean? Like, the audience just fell by about 50% because it went behind a paywall. So it was. I understand they need to make money. I understand that the pandemic cost them a lot, but yeah, it definitely harmed it, I think. And then it's just, I think they have gone onto YouTube, and I've just never got back, around to getting back into it, if you know what I mean. Christian is a PUC, is what it says on Jungle Boy shirt. So he was about to do a concerto. Luchasaurus came down. Jungle Boy tried to attack. And all the fans are doing the Jungle Boy song. Whoa, 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 whoa. Christian Cage in the crowds. We're going backstage to Tony Schiavone. Whoa, 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 whoa. Right, let's go into this and update that. So, Christian beats Matt Hardy. I'm the Dragon Slayer. Brian, whenever you're ready to come back from injury, get back here. I've got your number. Obviously, quite the shock last week with Bryan Danielson losing. Ryan said, is Ric Flair the greatest? I think he's definitely in the conversation. I think it depends on how you measure greatness. I don't know that he was... Jennifer, shout out to you. Oh my God! Bailey's... I can't talk whilst I'm screaming. That's what she said. So, it depends how you measure it. I don't think that his in-ring... I think the criticism you always get with Ric Flair is in-ring, he had a set of spots, and he had wrestled so many matches, he just knew what worked. He could go to those to get the reaction he wanted. He had a bag of tricks. It was maybe not the most varied bag of tricks, but it was a bag of tricks that was well-known, well-loved, and he would go to them on a very regular basis. And the criticism you hear is that if you've seen one Ric Flair match, you've seen them all. I think that's unfair, but there is probably I don't want to say a degree of truth, but, I mean, you're going to get more varied matches from other performers. Like Bret Hart, I think, was giving more varied matches. I think Undertaker gives more varied matches. And so, that was the criticism. But he knew what worked, and it still worked. I was thinking about this, around his final match. I think what Ric Flair did was he found the formula, and he just kind of exploited it to the max. got involved in some great storylines, had some great opponents, let the opponents shine. Like, he still had his moments with his promos, of course, and had a few spots in the matches, but his selling. I mean, if you want to praise him for some, like, his selling is just legendary. I mean, he made you feel that, like, what was happening was real and that he was in peril. And, when he's, like, on his knees pleading. Do you know what I mean? And his selling was just one of the things that has always shone to me. So I love his promos. I love his selling. He always treated himself like $1 million with his robes and all of that. If there was to be a criticism, I think it would be that if you've seen one Ric Flair match, you've seen them all. But it works. It still works. It still works. That box of tricks that he's got still gets the reactions that it needs to get. Can you criticize him for not evolving and adding to those? I don't know. For me, he is absolutely in the conversation. Absolutely in the for longevity, for promos, for impact on the business, for selling, for match quality that he has. I mean, just because he has this box of tricks and because his matches are a bit repetitive, it doesn't mean that he's not involved in like some of the greatest matches of all time. He knows how to allow his opponents to shine. He knows how to work the crowds. He knows when to change gears. He knows how to pace a match. He's got the cardio and the conditioning to go for an hour, and do what's needed. He is in rarefied air, let's put it that way. I really, really don't think... There'll be people out there that go, yeah, he's the best, right? But I genuinely don't think there's too many that are in the same bracket as what he is. I think that for longevity, for impact on the business, for his selling abilities, the emotion he can get from the crowd, there's only a handful of wrestlers that reach that same level. So, I don't know if that answers your question. It probably doesn't. For me, if I'm told I've got to do a Mount Rushmore, he's getting chiseled. Whether he's first or not, I'm not sure, but he's getting chiseled. Jennifer, shout out to you, my friend. Really appreciate the support as always. Hope Lorelei is well. And Jennifer said, just a thought... I'd share the reaction to the kid crying. The biggest pop of joy that I've given in a while. It woke Lorelei. A quick recap. Let these words make all those kids cry, baby. My husband say I've created my own monster. Yeah, I agree. It's the kids cry. I think it's such a positive sign for wrestling that it can still touch kids in that way. If you think about like all the different forms of entertainment that people have got now with Fortnite and video games and esports, regular sports, but esports in particular, YouTubers like Logan Paul, Sidemen, KSI, blah, 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 blah. The fact that kids are still willing to give wrestling a glance is a positive, a big positive. But the fact that not only do they give it a glance, but it gets them so emotionally, like we saw that kid earlier, it's just great for wrestling, isn't it? I mean, that says to me that if it's doing that with him, it's got to be doing that with others. I don't think he's a special case or anything. I don't think he's an isolated incident. So I've got to think that means that wrestling is doing a good job. AEW doing really what they should be doing, It's meant to hurt if a couple of wrestlers you like get attacked. Maybe that's why, they get attacked a little bit too often, and maybe that's why we shouldn't have as many brawls. Maybe it lessens the impact, but clearly not there. The kid was feeling it. Ethan Page was in the ring, and he's just been given Stokely Hathaway's card. So, smile on the face of Stokely Hathaway. So, looks like Ethan Page is going in a new direction now. I think he needs to, actually. So, Stokely Hathaway seems to have recruited Ethan Page. So, Jennifer, thank you so much for the support. And as I said, I agree. Let all the kids cry. Let them all cry. There's not enough tears in wrestling. We're backstage with Jericho Appreciation Society. Has the Vince allegation cooled off a bit? Haven't heard much for a few weeks. Well, I don't know that it's cooled off. I mean, I suppose it has, but I just don't think there's been any other information that's come through. So, he's kind of moved away. It's hard to know now how much it would hurt WWE, because I think they've been quite clear that he's gone, and I think that this new Triple H era has been very well advertised. So if anything else does come out, I'm sure it will still affect WWE, but I don't know if it affects it as much as it would a month ago. We've got an attack. Anna Jay is beating up some dude, some member of staff backstage. Anna Jay, very aggressive. That's women for you, though, isn't it? They just flip out at the drop of a hat. Quickly, one last thing. Are you going to watch Season 5 of Cobra Kai? It's out on September 9th. No, I haven't seen Season 4. So I can't say Season 5 is high on my agenda. This is the dumpster match. So we've got a dumpster. It's got graffiti. It could have got a nicer dumpster. So we've got a dumpster. It's been graffitied. The dumpster says, "Not the ass boys." Here come the Gun Club. So, Gun Club taking on the Acclaimed. Gun Club versus... Yo! Now listen! Against the Acclaimed. Right, here we go. Boom. Oh, we don't even get the hippity hoppity stuff. Ah! Yo, now listen. We don't get that. Oh my god, heel turn. Coming down, and all the guns are getting laid out. Oh, we might get it now. Yo! Start my music. Yes. Listen! Listen! Yo! 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 No filter, this ain't Instagram. We make the ass boys retire like Vince McMahon. Oh! Oh! Damn! Damn. No filter. This ain't Instagram. We make the ass boys retire like Vince McMahon. Damn. Right, we've got double suplex on the outsides. Dumpster match is where the winners take out the trash. Not even close to your daddy is not here anymore, Burn, says Dark Angel. Burn Wars, that's what we've got. Burn Wars. He did not just say that. He said that. He said it. What? And there was me going, oh, have we been robbed? Have we been robbed? We're not even going to get a line. But they gave it us, and damn did they give it us. Do you remember when the hush money and all of that came out, and everyone was like, oh, what is he going to say? And I think what he came out with was like something to do with an NDA, and it was all a bit, I was wanting him to go a bit further. Now he's full on name-checking Vince McMahon. I mean, fair play. If that was someone else in the news, he would have named him. So, do you know what I mean? If that had been like a baseball player that had gone through the same thing and it was a big star, he would have done the exact same thing. But because it's Vince and it's another wrestling company and everything, like you go, what? Right there, trying to shut the Acclaimed inside that dumpster. Stokely recruiting Ethan Page. Does that mean Dan Lambert is done? I think he was a bit hit and miss, but I'm glad they're moving in another direction. I don't know, to be honest, because you've still got Scorpio Sky around. So maybe he is done. Maybe his time has come to a close. It definitely feels like Ethan Page has been playing second fiddle to Scorpio Sky, with Scorpio getting the TNT title opportunities and everything. This definitely feels like a good thing for Ethan Page. So whether Dan Lambert is done or not, it's a positive for Ethan Page. Is it possible WWE would sue AEW for that? No, they wouldn't get very far. It's it's true, isn't it? He did retire. We're going to make you retire just like Vince retired. I mean, it's a fact. So, I mean, there's not really much there that they can have him on. I would imagine those, certainly after the lines they used on Julia Hart. Do you remember when they went after her vagina? I would imagine they get checked now by Tony before they get said. Strowman against Kalisto was the last dumpster match before this one. Wow. Do you know what? It's what wrestling has needed for a long time, is a dumpster match. We've been starved. It's been a very barren period for the old dumpster match. But we're underway, and they're fighting on the outside. We're at ringside. The dumpster's at ringside as well. There's a dumpster on the entrance stage, and a dumpster next to the side of the ring. We are approaching the final half an hour of the show. It's been a pretty solid show. It's been pretty solid. The Guns can't get away from dumpster matches, says Minty. Did you see Jake Paul's fight was cancelled? I did. It's a shame. Does it stink? I'm going to say yes. Closing the one side, trying to close the other side. They always do it, and this isn't a criticism of these guys. It's just what they do in this match. It's always so slow, isn't it? So the dumpster has got like two flaps. So they close the one flap, and then rather than reaching over and quickly trying to close the other, they slowly walk round, take a deep breath, grab the lid, slowly oh, look at this. He's got his hand in the way. Oh, can't believe it. Can't believe it. How did he manage that with the 5 minutes I just gave him to recover? They're standing on the dumpster at the moment. Rake of the eyes. Austin on there. Bowens gets chucked off the dumpster onto some trash cans. Not much of a reaction from the crowd to that spot. We're on the entranceway. At the moment, we've got both Gun Club members teaming up on Caster. Coming up next, Jericho against Wheeler Yuta. Couple of strikes coming in by Caster. Caster trying to fight back. Kick to the midsection. Going to look to throw him into the side of the dumpster, and they do. They're grabbing a table. There's a table inside the dumpster. So they've grabbed a table. Looks like they're going to setting it up, going for something here. Mitchell, shout out to you. So I'm sure Jim Cornette is loving this. Not. Yeah, it's not going to be up his street, is it? I think if they're, I mean, like, I know these gimmick matches aren't for everyone's taste, but if they're done well, if they're intense and done well, then, you know, there's obviously a reason to do them. I do wonder if we just got to this a bit quick. I know, like, they did turn on him and everything, but I don't know. This kind of feels like it should be, like, a big blow-off further down the road. I think they only turned a few weeks back. Gun Club. So everyone is down. We've got everyone up on the entrance stage at the moment. Bowen's being picked up. There's a table set up. I think one of the guns has gone maybe on top of the tunnel. Yeah. So he's climbed on top of the entranceway. He's trying to get his balance, but he's really struggling up there. And actually, there's no. Now he's just stranded. Bowman's. Oh, nice. So Max Caster is snuck up behind. So both of them are on top of that entranceway right now. Looks like he's going for a ride. Austin goes straight into the dumpster, and a load of little polystyrene things go poof. They chuck him straight into the dumpster. And you don't hear a racket or anything. You just see these little polystyrene things go poof. I mean, it actually looks quite fun. Right. He gets chucked in as well into the polystyrene. One side closed. Other side closed, and the Acclaim wins. R.I.P. table. Match was too short. Acclaimed beat the Gun Club. Yo, now listen. Who is the hottest wrestler in AEW? I don't know, dude. I'm not very good on the simp front, so I can't say I'm the best person to ask when it comes to that. Fun match. Thoughts on the Acclaimed in ring? They've obviously got charisma, but I think they're all right in the ring as well. These two could be the future of AEW. I think they're fine. I can't say that their matches ever blow me away. Like, they're just tidy, solid, but I don't know if they're spectacular. Like this match here, the bits that stood out to me are, you know, maybe the bits that haven't quite gone to plan, maybe. Like, now they're really struggling to push this dumpster off the edge of the thing. The wheel's buckling and it's kind of going over to the side. They're trying to get it back on track. They've locked the Gun Club in. They've managed to get it now. Now they're pushing it and it goes off the edge. Oh, do you know what? His foot is actually stuck underneath that dumpster, you know. His foot has come out. Yeah, they do need to check on that, you know. And actually, they've gone over to it quite quick. That dumpster has just flipped, properly rotated. As it's come down, you can actually see one of their feet sticking out. I don't know that was meant to do a full rotation like that, you know. I think that was meant to just go off the side like that. But it's actually proper flipped over. And as it's flipped over, you can see the leg come out. You can see a foot come out. The weight of that dumpster has just gone straight onto that foot. That would not surprise me if that is an injury now as a result of that. Yeah, wow. Larry said, I'm sorry, but that was a bit lame. By God, they killed him! Yeah, where's JR freaking out? That's a really good point. You've got JR on commentary for that. And honestly, they've just pushed the dumpster off the edge, and the commentators have not enthused about it whatsoever. It's just like, right, that's done right now. Let's move on. Rampage, we got Keith Lee and Swerve taking on Neeson Woods. Battle of the Belts. We've got Claudio taking on Takeshita. Like, they've literally just moved on. They've not really sold that at all. Seriously, I hope they're all right, because that thing has completely flipped over. It's a hell of a spot. They got a family, damn it. Yeah, he's there. He's backstage, probably pulling his hair out. The Conquistadors and DDP as a stalker, they could go into the group. The stalker, good shout, yeah. Mance Warner says Nation of Domination. Austin said, so is Moxley not getting a proper feud till this title reign? Well, he called out Jericho, didn't he? So I don't know where we're going with that. Jericho's got Wheeler Yuta tonight. Thunder Rosa is going to be facing Jamie Hayter. Wardlow is taking on Jay Lethal. Quake by the Lake. That's next week. Brody King against Darby Allin. We got Lucha Bros taking on Andrade El Idolo and Roosh. We got Jade Cargill Open Challenge next week as well. Jon Moxley will face Jericho or Wheeler Yuta. We're going to find out that match coming up next. So Jericho's got the title shot, but Wheeler Yuta is going to be competing for that. So I'm guessing that's our main event. Did you hear Finn Balor talk about being hurt of WrestleMania, saying how he shows up for TV, does house shows, media scrums, meet and greets, and they've got no room for him on 2 nights? I did, big time, Baxter. I did. But I think of anyone on YouTube or within the internet wrestling community. I don't know if anyone has criticised celebrity matches as much as what I have. And, you know, part of the problem I have with them is that you've got these celebrities that come in and get wins and they beat established stars. So what message does that send? But not only that, but they are taking a spot away from a person that performs house shows night after night, week after week, does what they're asked. You know, it's not Finn Balor's fault that WWE have not invested in him enough to the point where they feel he is of value to use on that card. So I think it's a shame. And I promise you now, Finn Balor will not be the only one. Finn Balor will be one of many. I can't imagine that Asuka was thrilled at not being at SummerSlam. I can't imagine that Alexa Bliss was thrilled at not being at SummerSlam. I can't imagine that Gunther was that happy at being Intercontinental Champion and not being at SummerSlam. So I can't say it's a big surprise to me, but I am grateful that it's something that was said, because sometimes you can say those things and feel like you're in a bit of an echo chamber. But I just know for a fact this is how the wrestlers feel when, like, you know, people come in and take that. And if you watch Logan Paul's Impulsive, I swear to God I'm not making this up, Logan Paul said that when he's backstage, he can feel the other wrestlers have got a chip on their shoulder towards him because he knows that he has come in at the highest level. He knows he has not done, like, the groundwork, if you will. And he says, I thought that was really interesting because he did not need to say that. Of all the things for him to say on his podcast, he did not need to say that he feels backstage like other wrestlers feel a bit of, like, hostility towards him. And Triple H was like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's natural. You know, if someone else was to come in, start doing a podcast, and that podcast was to blow up, I'm sure that you would also feel that way. So, you know, these things happen, and sadly not a surprise to me. But it is what it is. The wrestling business is not going to change. It's certainly WWE has always had a kind of fascination with celebrity and always used celebrity to try and garner more publicity. You get him to make a fist and then wrap his fist for WrestleMania 2 because they were worried, because it was a boxing match against Mr. T, they were worried that he was going to actually try and knock Mr. T out. And Roddy Piper was actually a Golden Gloves boxer, so he could have done it as well. As big as Mr. T was, Roddy Piper could have knocked him out. He was, as we said, Golden Gloves. So there is, as you said, no changes come into that. Goes all the way to the WrestleMania and before. I mean, you got Cyndi Lauper before that was involved. Sometimes it can be good though. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and criticize it all the time. I mean, the Andy Kaufman stuff, what he did with Jerry Lawler. I mean, that was fantastic. That was brilliant. And, if they come in like, Mike Tyson came in for WrestleMania 14, that was brilliant. I mean, no one's going to criticize that. But I didn't need Snooki. I could have done without Snooki. Fab, Turn Up, Tanga. Literally my favourite troll. My favourite troll. Says, I've shared your live stream. Dudes. You're not doing this trolling stuff right, mate. You're meant to come in and throw shade and abuse. Not like, I just want you to know I've shared your stream. Thank you for making me on the Iron Balls list. No, you are, mate. In my eyes, you always will. In my eyes, you might as well be called Fab Iron Balls Tanga. So shout out to you. After my first UFC fight, you will follow me. I will, absolutely. Send me an abusive message online. I wouldn't want anything else. What with you being a troll? And I'll make sure to follow you back anyway. So I'll do that anyway. I won't even wait for your first fight, mate. So shout out to you. Right, here we go. Let's, I don't know who the Gooing Club are, but I've got that written down. We've got Jericho taking on Wheeler Yuta. Claudio making his way down. Claudio making his way. Even up the odds here. Orange Cassidy is definitely a joke, says Derek. Heather said Jericho needs to put Wheeler over, but he won't. No, they won't. I don't think they'll sacrifice that match that they've got lined up. We've already seen Moxley say that he wants the Lion Heart, so for that match to now not happen would be a bit weird. So yeah, I'm expecting Jericho to get this. 14 minutes. 14 minutes left to go. Slap there by Jericho. Ooh, little poke by Wheeler Yuta and clubbing blow to the back of Jericho. Jericho goes down and we are underway. Kick to the midsection. Big strike. Chop coming in by Wheeler Yuta. Are we going to see Jericho Appreciation Society getting involved? I feel like the fact that we've got Claudio out there and... is his name Matt? I think his name's Matt, isn't it? From 2.0. Jericho back out the ring. In fact, we've got both of them out there. Strike coming in by Wheeler Yuta over by the railings. Did you like the fighter Butterbean? Butterbean was a weird one for me because he was someone that I was aware of, but I never used to watch. He was weird because he had such a distinctive look that, and I think he used to knock guys out quite early. So I think he got quite big and popular, but to be honest, here in England, I'm sure they did show his fights, but I think you really had to look for them. So I kind of knew of him, I suppose in a way, a bit like Tiger Woods. I don't watch golf, but I know who Tiger Woods is. I never watched when I was young Butterbean, but I knew who he was. And obviously he got involved in wrestling. I didn't mind him getting involved because that actually made sense. Because it was a proper brawl for all. It was a proper event. It was like they were really fighting. And the prize was you got a match at WrestleMania, but you had to face Butterbean. Which was a mental prize if you think about it. I mean, having a match at Mania, fantastic, but it's going to be real, and it's going to be against, like, literally a killer. Like, he's someone that just goes out and just smokes people. So, I'm not sure how much of a prize that was, and obviously it does not go well. At WrestleMania 15, I think it was. I've got 15 in my head. But, yeah, as you said, that one, that's a celebrity kind of coming in, doing what they do best. Boxing. He was a boxer, and they needed a boxer, and he boxed. So, I don't have an issue with that. So, yeah, Butterbean is someone that, yeah, is a legend, isn't he? I'm sure he's probably just living on the Comic-Con circuit. I would imagine he can go to conventions and just do meet and greets. Who doesn't want to get a picture with Butterbean? Do you know what I mean? Who doesn't want to, I don't know, $20 picture with Butterbean? I could imagine he could sell them all day long. I mean, I've heard of him here in the UK, so got to think that there's plenty of opportunity still for him. But yeah, I don't know what he does now. The original concept of the winner for Brawl for All was to get a feud with Stone Cold, but they didn't think Bart Gunn would win. They thought Dr. Death would win. Yeah, that's very true. That's true. It was sort of designed, wasn't it, as a way to kind of really get him over. And then obviously, in the end, it ends up finishing him, really. I think they did a dark side on it, but there's been plenty of podcasts on it. And it's such a fascinating subject. The fact that they would do a real tournament, like actually have them go out and box for real and actually like knocking each other out for real. Yeah, why they thought that was going to be a good idea, I don't know. I suppose it's just like edgy, gritty. You want realism. You want attitudes. How about this? You know, you say to the boys, like, let's find out who the best boxer is amongst you. Like, yeah, all right, it's me and it's me. I could imagine, like, the boys being like, yeah, all right, yeah, I can do that. But, yeah, obviously there was injuries and everything. It was a flipping nightmare. An absolute nightmare. Butch has apparently teased that Pete Dunne will return. Dunne? Peen Dunne? Who's Peen Dunne, James? Penis. Is that a peen? Is that his new name? Oh my god, it's worse! It's worse! Oh my god. I thought Butch was bad. Now he's known as Peen Dunne. Oh! Penis. No, not the peen! Not the peen! He's gonna come out dressed like, do you remember those druids, those penis druids at, All Out that Joey Ryan had? That's gonna be Peen Dunne now. Oh, I can't believe I feel sick. Oh, I feel sick. I was horrified at Butch. Oh, I can't believe they've called him Peen. James says Pete. Oh, Pete. Oh. What did you say then? Sorry, I got stuck on the idea of him being known as Peen. Peen Dunne will return at Clash at the Castle. That's what he's been teasing. At least it's not Butch. Well, that's true. That's true. At least it's not Butch. Penis. Right, against the ropes goes Willie Yuta. James said, I'm too tired. I'm too tired. I'm letting you off, mate. I'm letting you off. You've given us a little lift, yeah? You've given us a little lift. You've risen us up. You've given us a lift. Some could say you've given us all an erection. That's what some might say. With your penis comment. I don't know why, but I sort of feel a disconnect with Liv as champion. I feel like she's not believable enough. I sort of understand where Vince was coming from when he thought she wasn't ready. I don't mind her being champion. I think this is her first reign. I think that you're getting used to seeing her with the belt, getting used to seeing her in the main event scene. For me, the problem is I'm struggling to see how she gets past the likes of a Bailey, a Bianca, a Becky, a Charlotte. Like, she's swimming with sharks now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got no problem seeing her beat Carmella, Zelina Vega, Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like she's just on the verge of the main event scene. Now, in order to get there, they fast-tracked her by giving her the Money in the Bank, and she cashed in at an opportune moment. I personally am not a fan of her reign continuing after that Ronda result. I think that her, and I've said it before, and it would make quite an interesting conversation video, actually, but I think her character is about sort of working hard, doing the right thing. I've said before, she could cut corners in the past. She easily could have cut corners, but she didn't. She worked hard for years, waited in line, got her opportunity, did it the right way, got the belt. And so now that, like, she definitely tapped first, I don't know how I feel about her just going, I don't know. Did I? I don't know. But that's what they're going to do. She ain't going to surrender it. She won't give up the belt. I'm certainly not expecting that, but I don't know. It just sort of feels like to just move on from the fact that she definitely did lose that match, definitely did tap first. I don't think it helps the perception of her. Like, I'm with you. I'm looking at her thinking, okay, I can buy her being at that level, but I'm struggling with her being at that level. That kind of result does not help. Does not help. It gets her past Ronda for one match, but all it does is it makes me think she's not really the champ. It doesn't legitimize her championship reign. It doesn't make me want to support her more. Yeah, it's. I agree. Liv fans won't care. They'll be like, whatever. She's got it. She's got the belt. Shut up. So they won't care. But yeah, for me, they needed a screwy finish, and of all the screwy finishes, of all the things to do, making it her tap first. I mean, they couldn't even have done it whereby, imagine if Ronda's shoulders had been down, and the referee counts 1, 2, 3, and literally as the 3 is counted, Liv taps. So you're not quite sure. And there's enough of a grey area. There's not. Clearly, she taps first. She probably should have waited a second so that it was a little bit like, oh my God, how did that go? A grey area type thing. So, yeah. I don't know. What I can see happening is Ronda's suspended. We're just going to move on. That's it. Forget about it. She got past Ronda. By the skin of her teeth, she got past Ronda. And we'll move on. So it sort of feels to me like her reign hasn't really started yet. Because whatever we've had so far has not been impressive to me. Or it certainly hasn't won me over, let's put it that way. Wheeler Yuta is going up top. We've got 4 minutes left in this one. Wheeler Yuta. Oh! Beautiful. Jericho. Getting a 2-count shoulder up. Is it true what KSI said? Jake should have fought on his undercard as co-main against Tommy in a sold-out O2. That does do more pay-per-views than Jake's fights. Do you agree? No. No, I don't agree. I think Jake Paul gets... I don't know how KSI can say that he's going to get more pay-per-view views when... he hasn't done a boxing thing since he fought Logan. So how can he know how successful this is going to be? Unless he's got pre-sales that show very impressive numbers. I have no idea. That to me just sounds like it's KSI trolling, to be honest. But Jake Paul has earned the right to main event his own cards. He's obviously faced like Woodley a couple of times, Ben Askren. He's had some impressive moments. And he's also trying to get his fighters paid as well. He's taking responsibility. It's his promotion as well. Most valuable promotions. It's his promotion that it was under. So, you know, if he went and fought on a different card, it wouldn't be his promotion anymore. He'd be fighting under a different promotion. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Plus also, why would he want to come and do that fight in the UK? He said that he would do a fight in the UK, but he would need more money for it. And Tommy wasn't willing to budge on that, so... Look at that, the walls. A proper walls as well. A proper... He taps him out to the walls. Can I just say, that was the best Jericho match I've seen in a while. Look at proper walls of Jericho being applied. Not the Boston Crab that we tend to get. This is a proper walls of Jericho. And he's not letting it go. Is that going to bring out Moxley? Yeah. Here's Moxley. Moxley making his way down. Jericho still not releasing. Just chucks the belt, jumps into the ring. Jericho runs away. So Moxley makes his way out. Jericho walks off. Moxley against Jericho 2 next week. Quake at the Lake. Quake at the Lake. You've opened Pandora's box. Next week. You want the last survivor of Stu Hart's dungeon? You want the Lionheart? You've got it, yes. Jericho said he's going to stretch him. Do you know what? I am genuinely looking forward to that match. Genuinely looking forward to that match. If we get... And that match we just got with Wheeler Yuta was really good. As we were chatting away, I was keeping an eye on it, and it was good. So I am really looking forward to seeing the Lionheart, seeing good in-ring action, seeing these two going at each other. Jericho said he's going to stretch Moxley. He says, you want the last survivor of Stu Hart's dungeon? You've got it. You've got it. You've got it. That'll be good. Quake at the Lake next week looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Moxley pacing around. Wheeler Yuta gets to his feet in the background. Moxley will make quick work of Jericho, said Big Time Baxter. KSI sold out the O2. Jake had a lot of tickets to sell. That's how he's got more pay-per-view buys. Yeah, but what's the cost of the tickets? What was the cost of Jake's tickets compared to KSI's tickets? I mean, if you're going to be selling tickets at, like, I don't know, $30 and Jake Paul's selling them for 50, well, then that might be how you've sold it out quicker. Plus also, like, you know, I believe that Jake Paul still ends up selling out his arenas. I mean, I remember he had a fight in Cleveland, which I think is where he's from, and that was sold out. And that might have been his last. That might have been his last fight. So, to be honest, I think that's just KSI trolling. Until the numbers come in of how many actual people have tuned in to watch the fight and how big that event actually was, I don't know how KSI could come out and make that kind of a statement. Days, some love. Give the stream a like. Sean, shout out to you. Get in your scores. Get in your scores. What did you think of Dynamite? I thought this was solid. I thought it was solid. I'd love to know if the Gun Club are all right, though. That dumpster thing was a bit moody. Could definitely, as I said, you could see the foot sticking out, and I don't believe that was a fake dumpster. I mean, I genuinely believe the way they were trying to push it, and it was like going off course a bit. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing gimmicked about it. I think they did literally just put some polystyrene pieces in the dumpster, and that's how they broke their fall. But being pushed off the edge of a stage in a dumpster, I mean, I can't imagine that's fun. And then having the weight of that dumpster go onto your foot, I can't imagine that's fun either. So I'm not going to say it's broken or anything like that, but definitely could have done something to it. So we'll have to see if there's any update on that. Jonathan said, come on, the kid crying breaks it to a 10. What else have you got to do to get a 10? Pepsi Pack said that was an artificial leg. Daniel said he's doing that version of the move for a reason. It's called the Lion Tamer, and Moxley wanted the Lion Heart. Brian said scoring 11 wrestling days. Brian Keane. Brian, shout out to you. 725 solids. DH16 said 756. Do you think he died? I don't think he died. But he could have picked up an injury. Last week's AEW jumped 976 from 910 the week before. Wouldn't be shocked if tonight did 900 or a million. Hard to know, to be honest, because we've come off the back of some big weeks. And obviously, you know, you've had Fyter Fest. And I think not that long ago we had Fight for the Fallen. I mean, not that long ago we had Blood and Guts. So it feels like we've had some big shows in a row. This was just the Dynamite. Obviously, next week we've got Quake by the Lake. But this was just the Dynamite. I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. There were a few rumours that Omega might be back this week, Kenny Omega, but I don't know how strong those rumours were. So I don't know if that's going to be enough to get people to tune in. I don't know. It's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. We will obviously have to see. I'm thinking it probably holds. Sometimes these do weird numbers, though. Sometimes these shows that just aren't really advertised as much, sometimes they can come in with bigger ratings. So you can look at it and go, oh, well, it's not a big show. It's not got like a big name attached. Like the main event, I don't think was like that big. I mean, Jericho Wheeler Yuta's fine, but I think we all knew Jericho was going to win. I don't know. This is the kind of show I would expect it to fall, just dip a little bit, and then come back next week. But as I said, it's always hard to tell. I reckon, yeah, about that 950 mark. I'm going to say it probably holds. Edward said, people are saying Ronda will be at Clash and get a rematch. And it will be a submission match. If that's the case, would Ronda win? I'm going to say no. I think that I think they're having a little look at Liv right now. I think they've got her past SummerSlam because they easily could have put the belt back on Ronda just. But I think they've got past SummerSlam. I think they're going to give Liv some time for promos, some time with the belt, see how the merch sales are going, see how her segments are rating, see how her YouTube videos are doing, really look at the analytics. And then when we get to Clash, if things are growing and doing really well, there's probably a chance that there's a bit of outside interference and she finds a way past that as well. I don't expect her to beat Ronda clean at all. But there could be like a Shayna Baszler that gets involved and costs Ronda. And then, you know, that means that feud's done then. I mean, that moves Ronda away permanently. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. But I would actually have Liv as favourite. I think they're fully on board the Liv train at the moment, to be honest. Quake by the Lake looks great. Coffin match, Darby and Brody. They did have a fantastic match, Daniel. That's true. And Jericho Moxley for the interim belt. Ronda is suspended until further notice. She will not be at Clash at the Castle. Hasib said, I was thinking maybe you could do a video on when you felt Vince... Where did that go? when you felt Vince should retire and when you felt he fell out of date from wrestling, if you see what I mean. Yeah. I think that's tricky because I don't know that I could find, or I don't know that I could think of one moment in particular. I think wrestling is pretty full of, I mean, I can go back to the new generation and point at stuff that was out of date and that was clearly not landing. I mean, you've got things like Friar Ferguson, Mantar. I mean, Vince really, since he took over, has very much been, let's just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. That's been his approach. And in a way, you can't really criticize that. I mean, the guy's not a supercomputer. He's not Google. He ain't got an algorithm that tells him exactly what the most people want. You know, there has to be a degree of, let's try a bit of everything and see what works and then go in that direction. And in a way, that's sort of what I do with the videos I've been doing, you know. Would people like the debut videos? Let's give that a go. Okay, that seems to be calling. Let's try this new kind of video. Let's try that and see if these more discussion, opinion piece videos would land. So I like the idea because I think it's very interesting to kind of go back and go, this is the moment that Vince should have walked away. But I don't know that I could actually find that moment because I think really from the start he's just constantly thrown stuff against the wall. Some of it worked. If some of it works, he's ridden it to death. Hogan rode it to death. Attitude Era, you know. He was riding that until he beat WCW. And then obviously things had to change because there was no competition anymore. He had to make his own competition. So, you know, we go into like the brand split. I mean, you could say at the end of the Attitude Era, he should have gone because that really was WWE at its pinnacle. But I think there was still really good stuff that came out of Ruthless Aggression. I think Ruthless Aggression is a perfectly fine era. And then once you come out of Ruthless Aggression, you go into like the PG era. You could say at the end, you could say at that point, he should have gone. But the truth of the matter is, once you get to the PG era, you start making more money than ever. You know, the money and the business side go through the roof. So it probably wasn't right that he walked away then because he shouldn't have gone at that point because like that's really when the company starts becoming like $1 billion company. I mean, it makes tons of money in the Attitude Era, but it's only really when like, you know, these big TV deals are coming along and, you know, all the other competition has gone that WWE can really expand globally and capitalize. And I mean, that's such an important time. So it sort of feels like, I don't know when he should have gone. Maybe before the pandemic. Maybe if he'd have gone just before the pandemic hit, which how would you ever know that was coming? But if he had have gone in, say, 2019, 2018, something along those lines, he could be well out of the company now. He could have gone with his head held high. I don't know if these allegations would have hit quite as hard, because obviously they hit a lot harder because he was there, and it was affecting the company directly. If he'd already been gone for a few years, this still would have been a massive monster story. As big? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not as big, because obviously this has changed everything and it's been a whirlwind and he's been forced to retire and everything. And I think the pandemic, you just couldn't do anything during those times anyway. You just couldn't do anything. So, you know, if he wasn't around during like that, it wouldn't have been a problem, I don't think. And then we haven't really come out of that too much, and now here we are. So I've got to say maybe around about 2018 kind of time, 2019, like, you know, before the pandemic hit. But it's not really a very satisfying answer, because I think you'd like to point to something and say WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 30, Undertaker should have retired and Vince should have gone with him. Like, you could say that. You could say that easily. But I don't know. I mean, there's not really much of a reason for it. I mean, he was still around and they still do some good stuff. I mean, WrestleMania 31 was good. Seth Rollins cashing in and everything, you know. It's a well-received WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar, obviously, you know, gloating about the streak and riding that for a while, and social media really growing. I mean, I saw earlier today, actually, they're at 90 million subscribers. They will soon have more subscribers than I've had views. More people will have clicked their subscribe button than watched this channel, which is like ever, which is it's crazy. I mean, that is crazy. They are one of the biggest channels in the world. Like, social media-wise, they're just a flipping monster, aren't they? They're just an absolute monster. So, it's a good shout, though, but I don't know if I can point to that moment. I'll give it some thought. Right, score-wise, very close here between 775, that's got 39%, and 8 to 10, that's got 36%. So, very close. How many views have you had overall? I don't look that often, to be honest, but I did know that we were getting up to 100 million, and I saw that we achieved that. So that was a little while ago, so it's probably just a little bit over that now. So I know it's over 100 million, and I know they're at 90 million. So Joe said, I wonder who Theory will feud with next. Well, he's feuding with everyone at the moment, isn't he? Old Theory. He's feuding with everyone. Mitchell said, you missed my super chat. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mitchell. I'll find it. Here we go. Mitchell said, you should do a top 10 historic moments that changed the business, like the match that led wrestling to being scripted and a history type video. That's interesting. The stuff about wrestling being scripted, though, I mean, that you're going all the way back. You're going all the way back to the early 1900s with that. Wrestling's been scripted for a long time. So I don't know that there is a match, but it just became apparent that they could draw bigger crowds if they could control the situation. And it was in, more money to be made, basically, if you could control things. So, but in a way, I can't say that there's a match. What I could say is there's probably been elements of scripted stuff in wrestling, probably going all the way back into the 1800s as well. So that has been a fairly constant thing. It's not like we get to it's all real and then, someone in 1957 decides, let's script the match, if you know what I mean. But I like that. That's a really good shout. I do like that. A history type video could be a lot of fun. And to be perfectly honest, what I really like about that is I keep wanting to force myself to go back and learn more, because obviously we have these kinds of conversations and it's just good, isn't it, to try and bring as much information as possible. And because we're so focused on the here and now and constant rumors about what's happening now, I feel like my focus is always very much on the here and now. So that would force me to actually go back and look back a bit more, which is something I would actually really like to do, to give me the time to do that. So really good shout, Mitchell. I really do like that. I like that. So shout out to you. If Liv's next opponent is Charlotte, surely she could retain. And when Ronda does come back from suspension, she has a gripe with Liv. I can't see heel Ronda beating heel Charlotte. If Liv's next opponent is Charlotte, surely she should retain. And when Ronda does come back, she has a gripe with Liv. I can't see heel Ronda beating heel Charlotte. Yeah. I mean, I don't know quite when Charlotte is coming back, but that's a really good point. I mean, you might want to keep the belt on Liv because she's a face. When Charlotte comes back, she's going to be a heel. She can't be too far away. I mean, Andrade's working. She went away, I believe, to get a bit of surgery done. I think she had a niggling injury and get married. Well, Andrade's back, so it's just her recovering from that injury. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be much longer till she returns. So, makes sense. Michael said, Drake Maverick can't come back. He works for WWE as a writer. He was hired February. Thought you should know so people don't smoke fun for you. To be honest, I didn't know that he would come back and was in writing, but that wouldn't have changed the video because the video was about people that I'd like to see return on screen, really. And so I'd still like to see him return on screen. So he still would have been included. The examples that I gave was that, I thought that he was so passionate for it, and it means so much to him that that passion, I think, plays very well on screen. I don't know, actually. Like, I feel like he probably works in creative because that's all they had for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have anything else, and it's like, I think they feel the same way I did. Like, this guy is so passionate about this. This means so much to him. Why would you let go someone that if you cut him open, like, he bleeds WWE? Like, whatever Vince wants, whatever Triple H wants. In a way, it's a bit like the modern day Howard Finkel. You always hear Finkel as well as always, what do you need? Doing the Finkel report, going around and, giving information to Vince and coming in super early to get things done and all of that kind of stuff. So I sort of feel like Drake Maverick, he was a great GM. You could use him in a GM role. He was great as manager with the AOP. That one never quite worked, but there was real potential to it. I just think that, he is a bit of a comedy character. So, 24/7 you could use him in, but I feel like there's probably a better use. But I was saying in that video, and I don't know if I really got the message across, because I did get a few people saying, like, why have you brought back, like, some of these people? But it's like, you can't just bring back just big giants. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could have sat there and gone, right, I want Carrion, I want Braun, I want Bray, I want, whoever, like, the big monsters. But you can't just have those. You need jobbers, you need mid-carders, you need women, you need guys. Like, I really did look to go, like, how can I strengthen the tag division? Maybe we bring back Breezango. How can I strengthen the kind of jobbers, if you will? Well, maybe we bring back the Iconics and Drake Maverick. How do you strengthen, like, the mid-cards? Maybe you bring in Dexter Lumis. I did consider Bronson Reed as well. I thought that would be a decent shout. But to be honest, I started to just run out of places. So, for me, like, he serves a purpose on the cards. I think the only reason that he wasn't being used is because Vince just didn't really care for him, to be honest. I think Vince was just like, don't know, I'd rather make the saving. But, now potentially you could use him again. I think he loves it, he bleeds it. I don't know if he gets that being in the writer's room. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he probably took that job because it keeps him with the company, but I don't know. Is he as passionate for that? I really don't know. So I think that his emotion always played quite well. So, all right, we've had over 200 odd votes. Let's wrap it up, shall we? End the poll. What do you score Dynamite? 8 to 10, 37%. 7 to 775, 35%. 6 to 675, 18%. 575 or below, 7%. Michael said, would you bring back Johnny and have him with Candice? Yes. Heel. Have a team with Indy. Johnny with Tommaso. I think it would be different because they weren't a heel team. Have Candice with Indy and have them be a heel team. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I mean, they were sort of a bit heelish when they were The Way. They were a bit heelish. Like, they were trying to stop Indy and Dexter getting together. And, like, that resulted in Johnny and Dexter having a few matches. So, I sort of think you could bring them back as heels. They've done it. It would work. I feel... Were DIY heels at one point? I can't remember. I feel like they might have been heels at one point. I can't remember. I don't know if that was like when they first arrived or something, but either way, I don't care. I don't care. I think they work as heels. Tommaso definitely does. And I think you could do Indy and Candice as heels, but I think they're great as faces as well. I just think they're so versatile. They work as solo stars. They work as tag teams. They work as a faction. You can open a card with them. Johnny, for me, is main event caliber. You can main event with Johnny. You can put him in the mid cards. I mean, you can literally do anything. Comedy, serious, can do it all. So I just bring him back. Bring him back, and then whatever you think you need, use him that way. If you think you need a little bit more comedy, you can use him for that. If you think you need to strengthen the tag division, you can use that. If you need a Daniel Bryan babyface, you can use him for that. The one thing he probably can't do is like monster heel. Do you know what I mean? Like be a solo monster heel. I don't know that he can carry that. Like super serious monster heel. I think he would struggle with that. I think he's got to be like underdog babyface. I think he can do that. I think he can work heel, but I don't know that he would get to the level. I see him as an underdog. I see him as like Daniel Bryan, really. Bryan tried to be a heel on top. Didn't work quite as well. He did it, though. Eco-friendly championship and all of that with Rowan by his sides. He did it. It didn't work as well as the whole Mania underdog stuff. So maybe you could get Johnny doing a heel stuff solo-wise, but for me, is just look at Daniel Bryan. He's the next Daniel Bryan. So just bring him back, see what you need. Cornette's view, which I agree with, is the ratings for a show will reflect next week, meaning if tonight's ratings come in less, that means last week left a bad impression. I disagree. I disagree because I think if you was to hype something this week, that's going to impact the ratings, and that will have nothing to do with next week. So if this week you've got some big matches announced for an AEW championship, and there's rumours that Kenny Omega's coming back this week, that will influence ratings, maybe even more so than how last week's show was. So I do understand that, like, if last week was bad, then people are going to be, like, less likely to, you know, reach for the remote and tune in this week. I do understand that viewpoint. But I think with social media now, and the power of social media, I think that even if your performance last week was not that strong, I think that you can use social media to advertise and hype up the following week's show, and that will then get viewers excited again, if you know what I mean. It's like you can tease something. I mean, we've seen it so many times. This is why, like, the mystery person stuff gets teased all the time. It's an easy thing to do, plays well on social media. People love speculating as to who a mystery person's going to be, and that, like, you know, starts conversation, gets things trending, drives intrigue. And then all of a sudden, you know, you got people tuning in again, even if your show last week was a bit flat. So I think it plays a part. It plays a part, but I think with social media now, you can negate it as well. And you can find a way of drumming up interest and building a card that people are going to jump back into. So if not Strowman for Judgment Day, what about Rowan? Don't mind Rowan. I think he lacks a bit of charisma, and I think that's probably why he's not had a permanent job in AEW. I don't mind him, though. I think that he's got experience, talented in the sense of he knows how to be a giant. He carries himself well. I always thought he did a great job in the Wyatt family, but there wasn't much of a job he was being asked to do, apart from, like, really stand in the background behind Bray and then, you know, just go out and just go through the motions, really. I mean, I can't say I ever saw a great Rowan match, but if you want that kind of silent, giant, in the background type, which is what this role is, that is what we're talking about with Judgment Day, then I suppose you could go that way. I just don't know. I don't know how exciting that would be. I feel like fans would like to see him get that, though, because I think fans I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him because obviously we know what happened with Brody. We know that, I mean, I don't even know where Redbeard wrestles now. I have no idea. So I sort of feel like fans want him to be, you know, earning money and being successful. I think fans, because of him being in the Wyatt family and his connection with Bray and his connection with Brody, I think fans want to see him being used. So I think the fans would receive it well. And I think he'd do a decent job, but I don't know how much you're going to get out of him, if you know what I mean. Like, he's not the most charismatic of people, and I thought when he was with, like, Daniel Bryan, it kind of showed as well, because that was a big opportunity for him, you know. They really gave him the spotlight then. That was his time to shine. Whatever he had, that was his time to shine, and it just didn't really break through. He was just sort of there, being like the bodyguard type thing, and I don't know, just didn't really grab anyone, I don't think so. But listen, if it was him, I wouldn't hate on it. I think it's probably the best way you could use him. And I think there would be fans that would be on board with it. But I think Strowman's just got a bit more charisma. Strowman, just a little bit more about him on the mic. But even his mic skills is not brilliant. But I think if someone was to, like, do you want to watch a Strowman match or do you want to watch a Rowan match? I think I'd rather watch Strowman, so... I want you to dethrone Roman. Thoughts? Do you know who Mr. Beast is? He just hit 100 million. I do know who Mr. Beast is, yes. I don't watch his videos, but I am aware of him. So, that's good. I'm pleased for him. I ain't got nothing against him. I know he did a big video not long ago, where he, like, recreated Squid Game. So, I know that he did that. So, yeah, I mean, his channel is, you know, incredible. He spends, obviously, the budget and whatever, the money that he spends on his channel and all of that, I mean, it must be astronomical. But, yeah, he deserves it. He puts himself out there. He, you know, does crazy stuff and gets the reward, so fair play to him. Right, we're done. Awesome. Appreciate the support. Thanks a lot for watching. We will have a video of some kind up tomorrow. And, of course, we will be back on Friday for SmackDown. And we will be then going through SmackDown, and should be an interesting show. It is the SmackDown after SummerSlam. So what are they going to have up their sleeve? What next for Liv? What next for Ronda? We're going to find out all of that, and what next for Roman? What next for the Bloodline? Going to find out all of that as well. So awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.